Compare them.
And I couldn't believe the number of great applicants we got. I don't know how we hired before ZipRecruiter.
Find the best candidates with ZipRecruiter, where your job is just one click away from 100 plus job sites. And right now you can try ZipRecruiter free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/radio offer. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio offer.
5:08. Let's get an update on the roads this morning and in our AM 560 traffic center. Here is Jim Talamonte. Good morning, Jim.
Good morning, Mike. There was a crash last night on Harlem Avenue at the Stevenson Expressway, and the ramp from Harlem to the inbound Stevenson is still closed after that incident, which happened before midnight. Seeing roadwork delays still on the inbound Bishop Ford Freeway. Stony Island to Merge. There was some work right near the CTA station at 95th. Pretty heavy, 23 minutes, 80-94 to the Ryan. And farther south on 55, it's heavy, 53 to near 355 after some work. We don't have any numbers yet, but some cars have been towed during early morning hours with Chicago's winter overnight parking ban now in effect. Traffic service of American Express. Hey, American Express card members, you don't want to miss this now through December 31st. It's a big reason you to shop small at local stores in your neighborhood. Learn more and enroll your eligible card today at americanexpress.com/shop small offer. Terms apply. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte. AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer starts next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. From the aircomfort.com Weather Center, here's our meteorologist, Ashley Benoit.
Mostly cloudy and breezy today with a shower in places, high 43. Mostly cloudy tonight as well, low 32. Breezy tomorrow, times of clouds and sunshine throughout the day, high 40. And cloudy and cold Saturday, high 38. I'm Ashley Benoit on AM 560, The Answer.
Currently 37 at O'Hare, 37 along the lakefront. Next news, 5:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy starts now on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by the M.J. Miller & Company Holiday Catalog. Your perfect gift this Christmas is at M.J. Miller Jewelers in downtown Barrington.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Well, is he or isn't he?
What?
Is he coming to Chicago
I
or
know.
isn't he?
That's the thing. I know he's going to Indianapolis today for his big thank you tour. And
Cincinnati. He's starting in Cincinnati, right?
I thought he was going to Indy, then Cincy.
Starting in...
Here,
Mike Scott's got it.
help us,
He's
help
on top
us.
of it. He's somebody who reads the newspaper.
No. Not this early in the morning anyway.
Who's right, Dan or Amy?
He's going to Indy first, as far as I understand, and will end the day with a rally in Cincinnati.
Oh, Indy, then
And
Cincinnati.
then...
Okay.
And then not coming to Chicago, according to the official release from the Chicago Police Department.
Okay, but there was rumblings yesterday because
Yeah.
my cop friends had to all get off furlough and their scheduled days off were unscheduled days off. They were not happy because he was supposed to make this his home base from today until Saturday.
But there was a protest planned outside Trump Tower at 5 p.m. today. Is that still on?
Oh, I'm sure it is.
Because I that's going to adjust my plans. I don't know if I should go to the protest or
Right,
not.
or not. But I mean, it was going to wreak havoc on the city, and especially during shopping season, on Michigan Avenue.
That's the most important
Well, you didn't
thing.
want protesters messing with that.
Well, there's that, but he's disrupting Fifth Avenue in New York. There's other disruptions. I don't think the disruption is the largest thing. That's the problem. I think bigger is what you talked about, Amy. That's calling people in, having rotating shifts and things like that.
And then the Secret Service having to work with Chicago police and all that.
I'm sorry. Why is this a big deal? Isn't this exactly what Chicago police and everybody else had to deal with when President Obama would come to town? So what's the
Yeah, but
big
it's different
deal?
because President Obama was further south. He wasn't in the heart of
What are
the
you
city.
talking about? He would come he would come to Navy Pier.
Right. Well,
It's
he
the same
stayed
thing.
Sheridan. It wasn't the Trump Tower, and people were protesting him all the time.
Whatever. It's the
Well,
same.
Donald Trump, it's a place for them to protest, to go to the tower. And if he was in town, thousands would come in from all over the country and protest and
So
wreak
what?
havoc on the city.
So we should never visit Chicago or anywhere else where
No.
protesters may be? This is silly.
He'll be back.
Of course he should come to Chicago. And he should come to Chicago so he can whistle in Tiny Dancer and excoriate him.
Tiny Dancer's not here this weekend. He's in Mexico with a climate change summit in case you.
Oh, great.
He's not going to be here.
Eye on the ball. 700 murders, crumbling schools, bankrupt pension funds. And he's worried about junk science.
He's in Mexico.
It's a great commentary on why Chicago is the worst governed city in the country, and why Illinois is the worst governed state in the country. And apparently people in Chicago and the greater Chicago metro area love it. They absolutely love it. Can't get enough. So on behalf of the voters who support the Chicago Democrat power structure that dominates the city and the state, thank you, Tiny Dancer, for going to focus on junk science this week.
I thought that would make you happy. Yeah, he'll be there until Sunday.
That's super.
It's a great conference in Mexico.
By the way,
and that's what I need you to say. Hola.
A related note.
Yes, sir.
Did you see this story? This is really interesting. You know, so just since you brought up climate change and the junk science behind the world government play there and policies like carbon taxes and so forth. We're made of carbon, don't you know? So just when you think, oh, they just tax the air you breathe, that tax our very existence.
Really?
Hoss Cartwright, a former editor of the International Journal of Agriculture, Innovations, and Research. I know you're a subscriber.
Yes, thank you.
Going back to your days at Iowa. He had a good excuse for missing the 5th World Congress on Virology, which you attended last year.
Yes.
And the reason Hoss Cartwright didn't make it is because he doesn't exist.
Oh, really?
Burkhard Morgenstern, a professor of bioinformatics at the University of Göttingen, dreamt him up and built a nice little scientific career for Hoss Cartwright. He wrote a CV for Cartwright, describing his doctoral studies, his rigorous postdoctoral work, and his experience as a cattle manager at the Ponderosa Institute for Bovine Research. Cartwright never published a single research paper, but he was appointed to the editorial boards of 5 scientific journals. No one involved in the application process remembered the television show Bonanza, the Ponderosa Institute, or the giant but amiable cowboy named Hoss, who was played by actor Dan Blocker.
I ate at Ponderosa.
Yeah.
Did you ever eat those? All you can eat buffet. Weren't those great?
Were you a Ponderosa girl or a Sizzler girl?
Oh, you know what? Sizzler Sue. My friend worked at Sizzler, so I'd go see Sizzler Sue a lot. So I frequented both. They're pretty good, but Sizzler Sue or Sizzler had the better dessert.
You know what? Oh, that's interesting. I'll have to harken back to that because I was going to give the nod to Ponderosa based on the salad bar.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you can't forget the salad bar when you go out for a nice steak dinner.
Yeah, you're right.
At the Ponderosa or the Sizzler.
Gosh, whatever happened to those, Gene?
Some are still around. Ponderosa or Sizzler, 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line. You can't just say which you'd like. You have to make a case.
Right.
We don't just take positions here. We make arguments.
Yeah, mine was the dessert.
No, it's desserts. It's a legitimate argument.
Because they had the chocolate fountain that you could dip the ice cream in. Oh.
That does inform my view on Ponderosa. I don't know if that outweighs the salad bar or not. I'm going to have to think about it. I'm a bit undecided.
No.
But back to this fictional Hoss Cartwright. He was invited to speak at several meetings, such as the 5th World Congress on Virology. Morgenstern created Hoss Cartwright because he was tired of the constant barrage of solicitations from suspect science journals asking him to join their editorial boards. And at some point, I was just so fed up with all these spam emails from these junk publishers that I just did this little experiment. And I contacted them under a fake name and asked to be accepted on the editorial board, their editorial board, or the editorial board in question. And he was
scooped up.
He was scooped up by, for example, the journal Molecular Biology, which belongs to one particular publishing house that was sued by the U.S. Federal Trade Commission for deceptive practices last year. Oh. He also has found work for another fictional character that was the name of Sacha Baron Cohen's character in Borat. He submitted Borat to scientific journals, and he identified him as a senior investigator at the University of Kazakhstan.
Oh,
this is great. He is still on the editorial board of the journal Immunology and Vaccines. I mean, so just I just point this story out in the context of climate change. I mean, because all of this, if a scientist is saying it, then it has this weight, right? If a scientific journal is publishing it, then it has this weight. And despite peer review, which apparently doesn't happen as frequently as it should, based on this one scientist's little experiment of creating fake scientists who are now being scooped up by various scientific journals, just be skeptical as a general rule. We're skeptical of the Fourth Estate, and we should be. We're skeptical of government, and we should be.
We're skeptical of the internet.
Yes, right.
Don't believe everything you read on the internet.
As Abraham Lincoln famously posted on Facebook. And so it's the same thing with science. So, consider that when we talk about the junk science that's promulgated by politicians to advance a political agenda. Scientists are human beings too, and this is not to be a neo-Luddite and to reject science. No, it's to ask for evidentiary support for contentions that people make, whether they're politicians or media types or scientists.
It's news, opinion, insight. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Coming up later, a big win for the Chicago Cubs. We'll explain, but first, here's your forecast today. A light drizzle greets you when you step out the door on the first day of December. And it's going to be chilly today, a high of 43 degrees. Tonight, a low of 32. And for Friday, breezy with some clouds and sun, a high of just 40 degrees. Let's get those travel times and say good morning to Jim Talamonte.
Good morning, Amy. Good morning, Dan. Inbound Stevenson, the on-ramp from Harlem Avenue has been closed all morning after a truck's container fell off its chassis late last night. So the ramp from Harlem to the inbound Stevenson still closed. Farther south, northbound 55 now looks pretty good, approaching 355. There were some earlier roadwork delays in that area. Inbound Ryan at 71st, there's a stall in the left lane. Otherwise, the Ryan's still okay. Bishop-Fort heavy, though, after some earlier construction. Got a 10-minute delay from Stony Island to the merge. I'm Jim Talamonte in the AM 560 Traffic Center.
The website is upstream-ideas.com, premium content that complements what we produce here on this show, long-form interviews via our Against the Current series with opinion leaders and policymakers, my commentaries, my little 60-second vignettes, podcasts of our Sunday program, Illinois Rising, which focuses on state of Illinois and local politics and policy. Man on the Street, Follow the Logic segments to get a sense of what we're dealing with out in the electorate. It's all at upstream-ideas.com.
My daughter started school, and I find myself worrying if she is getting home safe while I'm still at work. I wish I could check up on her.
Alarm Detection Systems offers remote control of your security system from your phone. Get text or video alerts when someone's at your door. ADS is an authorized Honeywell equipment dealer. Visit adsalarm.com or call 630-844-6300. Alarm license number 127000143.
Our neighbor had thousands of dollars in flood damage and lost several items that are irreplaceable. Is there a security solution to receive early warning of an event like this?
Of course. Alarm Detection Systems has flood detection systems alerting you when water gathers in your home, giving you time to react. ADS is an authorized Honeywell equipment dealer. Visit adsalarm.com or call 630-844-6300. Alarm license number 127000143.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, and it's time to reintroduce our Food for the Poor campaign this Christmas season. You've heard us talking about it this week, our Food for the Poor campaign, and we want to thank everyone who's already stepped up to join us in our effort to provide food for a year and water for life for 1,500 children and families in Haiti and Guatemala. That's our goal. Let me give you just a quick cross-section of some of the people who've already donated, and we'd like to thank. How about Julie in Arlington Heights, or Rolf in Schaumburg, Mark in McHenry, Craig in Barrington, Joe in Naperville, Robert in Buffalo Grove kicked in $100, Diane in Moments, Robert in Wheaton, Albert in Northbrook, James in Deerfield, C.H. Hansen Company.
Well, those are for our business benefactors.
Yeah. Right, that's a business benefactor. Gatto Industrial Platers, another business benefactor. So we appreciate everybody who's joined in already with just the outset of the campaign.
Yeah, and our campaign has started strong this year, but we need to keep the momentum going, Dan. So if you haven't taken the opportunity to give a gift of $50, now is a great time to do it.
Dan in studio has given $50 on behalf of Peyton and Eli.
That's right,
because
yeah.
I lost the labor secretary bet.
That's
the
right.
commerce secretary
Commerce secretary bet. So now's a great time to do it, and it couldn't be any easier. What's the easiest way to do it, Dan?
Here's the easiest way to do it.
You're better with the numbers.
Yeah.
You're a numbers guy.
Right. And by numbers, I mean reading them. 855-880-3663. The number 855-880-FOOD. You can make a gift over the phone with a credit card. Takes just a few minutes. Or if you have a cell phone, which you do, just dial pound 250 and say the keyword food at the prompt. That's pound 250. Say the keyword food at the prompt and you'll be connected. Or you can just go to our website, 560theanswer.com, and search the keyword food.
Now, Food for the Poor, in case you don't know, is one of the largest and most trusted charities in the country. They're larger than the American Cancer Society, the American Red Cross, the American Heart Association. But here's the best part about Food for the Poor. For every dollar they raise, 95 cents goes directly to help those in need. And that's an impressive number. And they're incredibly efficient and transparent.
And they've got boots on the ground in Haiti and Guatemala. They have the infrastructure and the logistical support. They've been doing it for 35 years to make sure that the resources that are financed by your generosity get to those people who are truly on the brink of starvation, who don't have access to the life-sustaining food, potable water, and other necessary resources. We know that Haiti, in particular, is still recovering from the devastation of Hurricane Matthew 2 months ago, and it was an unbelievably poor country even before that natural disaster. The Haitian economy and families are in urgent need of our support. And again, this is not going through the government. This is not going in through any middle intermediary. This is directly from Food for the Poor to their personnel to the families.
So right now, your gift of just $50, that's all we're asking. For $50, it will feed a child for 1 year and provide water for life. So think about the impact of your gift. It will change someone's life. And here's something you can do. Gather your own kids together, explain to them about what Food for the Poor does, and make a gift together as a family. And it's a great way to teach your kids about the importance of giving and caring for others this Christmas season.
So that number again, 855-880-3663. Again, 855-880-FOOD or pound 250 on your cell phone and say the keyword food.
Now, one of the most popular parts of this campaign is our Business Benefactor Program. So if you're a business owner, marketing manager, if you make the marketing decisions for a business, then listen up. We have a great deal for you. And Dan, tell us about the deal. I feel like Vanna White here. Come on.
Yeah. Thank you, Vanna.
You're welcome,
You
Pat.
look lovely today. Now go spend some letters. Business Benefactor Program. You make a $2,500 tax-deductible donation to Food for the Poor on behalf of your business. That provides food for a year, water for life for 50 children in Haiti and Guatemala. And because of your generosity, AM 560 wants to step up for you. And so what we're going to do is give you 40 60-second commercials that will air on our airwaves between 5 a.m. and 8 p.m., so prime broadcasting hours. Monday through Friday. It's really the best advertising deal you're going to find in Chicago radio.
And there's a lot of businesses that wanted to test drive AM 560 before making a long-term commitment. And usually that's not possible. But for this campaign, you can get 40 commercials for just $2,500. You'll see what a great audience we have here at the station. And don't miss out on your chance to advertise on this station at an incredible discount when you become that business benefactor.
And to get more info about how to become a business benefactor and just the details on it, you need to call our director of sales. He's Michael Mann. You can wake him up right now. He's available 24/7. His direct number is 847-871-1527. That's 847-871-1527. And he'll answer your questions about becoming a business benefactor.
And don't forget to make a $50 gift and change the life of a child this Christmas season. Call 855-880-3663. That's 855-880-FOOD. Or on your cell phone, just dial pound 250 and at the prompt say food. That's pound 250 on your cell phone. And when you're prompted, just say the word food or go to 560theanswer.com and search for the keyword food. And thanks in advance for your generosity.
Listen to podcasts of Dan and Amy from the AM 560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, presenting the Turnkey IT Singers.
We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Good tidings we bring to you and your kin. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Now bring us some figgy pudding, now bring us some figgy pudding, now bring us some figgy pudding, and bring it right here. We won't go until we get some, we won't go until we get some, we won't go until we get some, so bring it right here. Good tidings we bring to you and your kin. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Not bad, but what they're really good at is technology. For 2017, leave the technical stuff to Turnkey IT. Log on at turnkey.pro.
Merry Christmas from Turnkey IT.
Everywhere you go, people are talking about how much they save on their wireless service with Consumer Cellular.
Plans start at just $10 a month.
I get the best price for what I use.
With no contracts.
And no surprises.
No wonder Consumer Cellular receives the highest customer satisfaction ratings from consumers like you year after year.
The best part is, you never pay for more than you need.
Consumer Cellular has been providing great service for 20 years and became an AARP provider in 2008.
We chose the perfect family plan, just for two.
And we've been saving a ton since we switched.
Consumer Cellular. Plans start at just $10 a month with no contracts. Get free shipping and free activation, a $35 value. AARP members can save even more with special discounts. Start your 30-day risk-free trial today. Go to getconsumercellular.com or visit a Target or Sears store today. AARP receives royalty fees for the use of its intellectual property.
No matter what type of business you're in, having a strong business banking partnership can help your bottom line. I'm Jeff Boundy, president of Cornerstone National Bank and Trust Company. We strongly believe that trust, service, and relationship are the cornerstone of a successful business banking partnership. Customers like Robert Weissite of Robert C. Weissite Company agree.
I appreciate the depth of experience my Cornerstone banker brings to the table. Last June, we located a building we wanted to buy for expansion. My Cornerstone banker walked me through everything I could expect to face in advance, from the letter of intent all the way through the day of closing. It went very smooth and predictably and with low stress. He had been through this type of transaction many times, and his years of experience helped me make my purchasing experience predictable, efficient, and successful.
Thanks, Bob. Please visit cornerstonenb.com, or I invite you to give me a call at 847-654-3000 to explore a business banking partnership.
Equal Opportunity Lender. Member FDIC.
AM 560, The Answer.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
I need to find out if that protest is still happening outside Trump Tower today at 5, because I don't know whether or not to finish my "We'll Miss You, Fidel" signage.
Oh, yeah.
Or not. So I need more information on that. And also, we'll have more information on who Donald Trump may select for his VA secretary. It's not Scott Brown, your boyfriend.
It's not. But first, let's go into the newsroom. Here is Mike Scott.
33 degrees outside, winds out of the west at 14. Giving us a real feel temp on your chin this morning of 25. And President-elect Donald Trump begins his victory tour, so-called today, as Trump and VP-elect Mike Pence visit a Carrier air conditioning plant to announce a deal to keep jobs at that Indiana factory. Carrier planned to move those jobs to Mexico, and Donald Trump often chided the move during the campaign. Treasury Secretary Pick Stephen Mnuchin says the Carrier deal is only the beginning.
It's going to be a terrific opportunity. Both myself, Wilbur Ross, who's in commerce, working with the president, making sure we do the right thing for the American workers.
This evening, Trump will also rally in Cincinnati. President-elect Trump's pick to be Treasury Secretary also wants to release Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac from government control. Mnuchin telling Fox News that privatizing the mortgage giants taken over by Washington in a 2008 bailout is on a top 10 list of things to do. The Wisconsin presidential recount begins in a few hours. Election officials are not expecting much of a change in the results. Police in Tacoma, Washington say an officer who was shot while responding to a domestic violence call has died. Police spokeswoman Loretta Kuhl.
suffered a great loss. And I think the community has suffered a great loss. I don't know how to put that into words.
Police last night surrounded the house. SWAT teams were called in. The gunman was believed to be barricaded in the house before shooting as of late last night. The death toll from the fires in Tennessee's Great Smoky Mountains keeps rising.
We have recovered 3 more bodies. We are now up to a total of 7 that we have recovered. We are still working on identifying those 7.
Sevier County Mayor Larry Waters says search crews have found those 3 bodies, pushing the number up to 7. In addition to the loss of life, more than 400 buildings have been damaged or destroyed. It appears Donald Trump will not be coming to Chicago this week after all. The Tribune reporting the police department officially had been preparing for the president-elect to arrive today. However, a police spokesman says they have been in contact with Secret Service. Now the department is not preparing for a visit at this time. DuPage County judge has sentenced a former Aurora man to 48 years in prison for the 2014 killing of his ex-girlfriend. Chicago sports, Lakers turn back the Bulls 96-90 last night at the UC, while the Blackhawks battle the Devils tonight. The news service of Cabela's. If your family loves the great outdoors every season, there's only one place to go this season: Cabela's Christmas sale. Shop for great deals on your favorite outdoor brands and hurry in for Saturday 8 a.m. doorbusters. Don't miss Cabela's Christmas sale. 5:34 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
I'd say the same thing to a billionaire that I would say to somebody making $30,000 a year.
The Joe Walsh Show.
The money you make, the money you earn, the money you invest, that's your money, damn it. And I think it's your duty, it's your right to do whatever you can do legally to limit what you give government, because we have a government that's too damn big.
The Joe Walsh Show. Weeknights starting at 5. Right after Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
Don't miss the Chicago Bar Association's 93rd annual satirical musical, This Case is a Shamilton. A cast of talented lawyers parody current news and pop culture from Hillary to Trump, set to all the music of your favorite show tunes and pop hits. This show is for everyone. You'll laugh out loud at this toe-tapping, finger-snapping, hand-clapping good time. This Case is a Shamilton runs at DePaul's Merle Reskin Theater, evenings, Thursday, December 1st through Saturday, December 3rd, with a matinee on Sunday, December 4th. For times and tickets, visit barshow.org. Treat your company, your clients, or go with friends for a hilarious night out. Order your Bar Show tickets today. Call 312-554-2064 or order online at barshow.org. Barshow.org. Tickets also available at the Reskin Theater box office. Don't miss the Chicago Bar Association's This Case is a Shamilton. Funny Trump joke was supposed to go here, but it was removed by the censors for obvious reasons.
5:35 and a check of the roads this morning. If you're missing your car this morning, you just headed out with the morning coffee to hit the drive. Jim Talamonte, might want to check that parking sign.
That's right. The winter overnight parking ban is now in effect in the city of Chicago. Hundreds of cars are usually towed the first night of that ban each year. Don't have any numbers yet, but there have been cars towed, and that ban is in effect 3 a.m. till 7 a.m. So if your car hasn't been towed, if you're in one of those areas, better move quickly. Kennedy, things are looking good right now. The express lanes have reopened after they've been closed overnight. No delays on the Kennedy. The Edens is fine, so is the Eisenhower. Inbound Stevenson, the on-ramp at Harlem has reopened, had been closed most of the early morning hours after a crash last night. Inbound Ryan, stop and go, 87th to 71st after a stall. Delays resume at the Stevenson. Already 25 minutes, 95th to downtown. Bishop Ford, 25 minutes, 80-94 to the Ryan. Traffic also with a service of Cabela's. Your family loves the great outdoors every season. There's only one place to go to this season: Cabela's Christmas sale. Shop for great deals on their favorite outdoor brands and hurry in for Saturday 8 a.m. doorbusters. Don't miss Cabela's Christmas sale. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte. AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. From the AirComfort.com Weather Center, cloudy, breezy, a shower in spots. High 43 today. Cloudy, 32 overnight. Breezy, clouds and sun tomorrow. High near 40. Officially, we have 30 36 degrees at O'Hare and 35 degrees along Chicago's lakefront. Your next news update is at 6. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by the M.J. Miller & Company Holiday Catalog. Your perfect gift this Christmas is at M.J. Miller Jewelers in downtown Barrington.
You want more than just the headlines? Find out what's going on and what it means with me, Dennis Prager, this morning at 11, right here on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. So how about Sarah Palin in the cabinet? Former Alaska Governor Sarah Palin under consideration to serve as the Secretary of Veterans Affairs in a Trump administration. Palin told Trump, according to Palin Aide, that she feels, quote, as though the megaphone I've been provided can be used in a productive and positive way to help those desperately in need, speaking of American veterans. What's your view on the idea of Palin for VA Secretary, a position that's taken on heightened importance because of the VA's abysmal record, as we have discovered over the last 18 months, in providing quality, timely medical care to our nation's veterans? 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro. Answer line, 64636DA, turnkey.pro. Text line, Amy.
Well, what I find peculiar about this is we really haven't seen Sarah Palin shoot at all since January 20th of 2016, almost a year ago, when she announced Donald Trump and announced the fact that she is going to be endorsing him for president. She was never there at the RNC, at the convention. She's been in hiding, I think, for almost a year. So now all of a sudden she's coming to the forefront, and it might be a cabinet position. And the VA, I thought she'd be great for Secretary of Interior. That's what I thought if he owed her something, because I'm sorry, politics is about helping out people who help you along the way. If he owed her something, I thought it would definitely be Secretary of Interior.
In terms of profile, how much have you heard from Wilbur Ross over the last year?
Oh, well, he's not a politician. She was half governor of Alaska. She served for 2 years and then resigned and was a VP candidate. But the last time we heard from her, Dan, she sounded a little off, okay?
What we don't have time for is all that petty, punk-ass little thuggery stuff that's been going on with these quote-unquote protesters who are doing nothing but wasting your time and trying to take away your First Amendment rights, your rights to assemble peacefully, and the media being on the thug side. What the heck are you guys thinking, media? It doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
312-642-5600 is our turnkey.pro answer line. 64636, type in DA, then a quick comment on our text line. I just, sure, I know we need strong Republican women to fill slots and to fill spots, but I don't know if she's the right person to turn around the VA.
Well, you have current VA Secretary Bob McDonald, who is a Fortune 500 CEO, and he hasn't been able to do it in any material way that's been supported with evidence. Could Sarah Palin turn that agency around? It's not, it wouldn't be single-handedly, but could she lead a team, put together a team that could turn the VA around?
What about, Scott Brown? He was actually campaigning for it in front of Trump Tower, talking to the media, suggesting why he'd be better for the job or good for the job.
Well, so here's the thing, though. Thinking about what VA reform should look like, the argument from a market perspective, free market perspective, the argument that's been advanced by conservatives is basically the VA should be voucherized. And you should be able to take the resources that are attendant to your medical needs and put them to medical care at any hospital you want, rather than waiting in queue at a centrally planned VA facility. So if there's merit to that argument, you would really effectively be decentralizing the administration of the VA and, frankly, giving veterans more dominion over their health care choices. They'd have the resources. You go where you want. You want to go to a VA facility, they'll still be around. You want to go to Northwestern, University of Chicago, they're around. So I don't know. I have concerns about Palin too, and maybe Interior would be a better post for her.
Her son does. I mean, he was assigned to the infantry brigade, and deployed in September 2008. Member for 12 months, was in part of the Army. She's never served in uniform, but her son was enlisted in the Army. So
yeah, her son-in-law is Dakota Meyer, who's a Medal of Honor recipient. Yep. So yeah, okay, that's good. It's worth noting, I suppose. But the real question is executive chops to do the job.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess we'll see what the Trump administration believes about that. Dave and Racine, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Well, you pointed out, her having family ties to members of the military, and she does have the executive experience of a governor, but she also, the thing is, wouldn't she be like to use a quote, a pit bull with lipstick? Going after any problems?
Yeah, well, thanks for the call, Dave. I mean, I don't know what that means exactly. I mean, would she aggressively root out, corruption and incompetence in the VA? I assume that would be her disposition. The question is, what's your assessment on how effective she could be in making sure that benefits are properly conferred to the veterans who earn them?
Mm-hmm. And that there's not such long lines that people die waiting to go see a doctor.
It's an executive and ultimately an administrative agency and post.
But lives are on the line in this one. Secretary of the Interior, it's a little different. But in this case, I mean, she's in charge of people who need help. They need medical attention right away. And I don't know if she can do that. And I wish I could be more excited about this, the rumblings that she would be VA secretary, but I'm not. Because I think she's gone off the reservation a little bit.
Well, part of it is, I mean, so.
And a lot of people, complaining too. My friends texting saying she was only half of a governor. She even quit as governor of Alaska.
She served 2 years as governor. It's not half of a governor. She served 2 years as a governor.
Half of her term.
And that was in part because of all the left-wing lawsuits against her.
Really?
Yeah, really.
Okay, well, I didn't know that.
Because she needed to make money and raise money for legal defense funds to fend the relentless legal actions against her, most of which were frivolous, from left-wing organizations. So your friends may want to factor that into their, I'm sure, well-reasoned assessment of Palin. Here's something else. How people talk, not necessarily indicative of their other skill sets. Some people can talk very beautifully, but you wouldn't want them to manage anything. Some people, being a rhetorician is not their calling. I would put Sarah Palin in that category, even though she gave a great speech in the 2008 convention.
Oh, she sure did.
She never quite built upon that foundation. She was a disappointment in my mind in terms of after that campaign, that brutal 2008 campaign, and after that speech in Minnesota. There was never kind of a second act for Sarah Palin, and she never really kind of grew from there, in my estimation. She didn't demonstrate the intellectual curiosity. She didn't provide texture in her commentary. And so
the left wing, the mainstream media was brutal.
Well,
on her.
Exactly.
Even attacking her for keeping her son who had Down syndrome. Oh, my God.
Yeah, well, that
was awful. I felt bad for her, what they did to her and her family.
It shows the barbarism of the left, but that's the arena. And so all that being said about my critique of Sarah Palin, that is a critique of her as a intellectual leader. It's a critique of her as a Fox News pundit. That's not the same thing as making an assessment about her capacity to be in an administrative post to ensure benefits are properly conferred, that systems are in place, that veterans are empowered to use their benefits to their highest best use. Those are different questions, and they require different skill sets. Just saying. But by the way, she was also a mayor before she was governor of Alaska, and you can kind of laugh at, Wasilla, Alaska.
It's a pretty big town.
The size actually doesn't matter that much. The idea of local government, being an executive in local government, that is government closest to the people. You actually have a lot of interaction with individuals who you can immediately help. Decisions at the municipal level can be implemented quickly and be impactful quickly. So that's something, that's also experience not to be discounted. I'm just trying to get an even-handed look at Sarah Palin and get beyond, some of her, frankly, a bit shrill, on the stump campaign offerings, and and her career as a Fox News pundit, and kind of get back to who I think she was when McCain selected her to be his vice presidential running mate. David in Lake Forest, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Morning. I look at Sarah Palin and I can compare her with possibly Scott Brown, and I just think there's absolutely no comparison. I mean, who in their right mind would pick Sarah Palin over Scott Brown if you are just talking strictly the VA and what Scott Brown's background is, from serving in the reserves, from spending time in the Senate? I mean, it's a no-brainer if you were to them square off.
I don't understand that argument. I don't think it's much of an argument. Scott Brown served time in the Senate. Yeah, and you have to be a dizzying intellect and a great executive to be a member of the Senate, don't you? Hardly. So what's the evidence, the executive management evidence, since that's what we're talking about here with VA Secretary?
Scott Brown is familiar with the bureaucracy of Washington. Sarah Palin, what's her, as far as being a governor of Alaska, what is her background in trying to manage a giant bureaucracy in the heart of Washington that already has a lot of problems?
Yeah.
I mean, Sarah Palin is she's a unhinged, not very smart person, period.
Well, thanks for the call, David. I mean, a lot of people would say that about President-elect Donald Trump, too, based on his rhetoric, wouldn't they? Wouldn't they?
Yeah, and there's a lot of similarities.
Bill and McHenry.
Morning, Dan. Morning, Amy. Look, the current director is McDonald, is a military academy graduate, active duty military experience, and a Fortune 500 guy. One individual is not going to clean up that system. If he's not given, he or she is not given leeway, latitude by the White House to drain the swamp, if you want to use that phrase, it isn't going to happen. It's a government bureaucracy that needs to be cleaned up.
That's right. Thanks for the call, Bill. And this is where I go back again to say all these posts are trust calls. Who do you trust to advance your suggested reform of the VA? So, for example, I mean, if you move to voucherize the VA when it comes to medical care, for example, would you get pushback from Democrats in Congress? Maybe even some Republicans.
Yeah.
Maybe even some veterans groups. That's not going to be without incident. So who can you trust to advance that flag of reform in the way that you want it advanced in spite of opposition?
But they're going to have to outsource some of the cases to private vendors. And that's what Scott Brown has been saying all along. And he is he served in the Army National Guard, and he worked on veteran issues as Massachusetts state senator. So he's obviously in the running for the job, too.
Tom in Schaumburg.
Good morning.
Hi.
Let's cut to the chase. Sarah Palin has a terrible, terrible voice, and it hurts her. I, for one, don't understand why she didn't invest some money in some speaking coaches so she could learn how to project a voice that wouldn't be so offensive to so many people, but she hasn't. But I still trust her judgment, and I trust it a lot more than that wacko Scott Brown. And by the way, how could anybody on this planet be worse for the veterans than Tammy Suckworth was?
Thanks for the call. Thanks for the call, Tom.
The more you listen, the more you'll know. This is Chicago's Morning Answer. Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
A light drizzle greeting you on this December 1st. Yes, already December 1st. Christmas stand is 24 days away, in case you're wondering. Get that Christmas shopping done now. We're going to have a high today of 43 degrees with light rain on and off throughout the day. And then tomorrow, breezy, really cool around here. We're going to have some clouds and sun, but if we're lucky, we'll creep into the 40s. Let's get those travel times. Here's Jim Telemonte.
Thanks, Amy. Good morning. The Edens is fine. Kennedy outbound right near the Ontario feeder. Right near that merge, there is a stall blocking a center lane. So watch out in that area. Mount Eisenhower, a 2 or 3 minute delay from Manheim to First Avenue. It's fine outbound. Mount Stevenson with scattered delays. We're looking at 45 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. The on-ramp from Harlem is reopened. Ryan, 27 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57's good. Bishop Ford, 25 minutes, 80-94 to the merge. Northbound Tri-State, a little heavy approaching the Eisenhower. That's traffic on AM 560, The Answer.
The most recent U.S. Supreme Court decision on the Affordable Care Act made one thing certain. We will all have to deal with this ever-changing law until at least 2017. If you're tired of calling a bureaucrat at an 800 number to help you navigate Obamacare, then you need a local expert on your side. That's right, your own health insurance mentor. C. Stephen Tucker from healthinsurancementors.com is someone I know and trust. He's a 20-year licensed broker who's been educating AM 560 listeners on the Affordable Care Act for the last 5 years.
Thanks, Dan. From now until January 31st, you cannot be denied coverage based on a pre-existing condition. Aetna, Coventry, United Healthcare, and Harkin Health no longer offer health insurance subsidies even if you qualify. One company still does, and they still offer plans that provide access to Northwestern Memorial, University of Chicago, and Rush University Medical Centers. Call me. I can help.
Thanks, Steve. How can our listeners get in touch with you?
They can visit healthinsurancementors.com or call me directly at 630-674-1551. That's 630-674-1551.
Here's microbiologist Dr. Kim O'Neill talking about balance of nature.
Scientific research has shown that many cancers and lifestyle diseases can be prevented with a diet rich in fruits and vegetables. This prevention comes from the phytochemicals in the plants. They fight against oxidants that damage the cell's DNA, causing mutations that lead to disease. I don't take any supplementation, but I take Balance of Nature because I know, I've seen it in my lab, and I know that it works. I've seen the immune response increase, I've seen your DNA repair capacity increase, and I've seen DNA protection. And that, to me, as a scientist, rings so true, and it's only natural.
Call now to find out how to get your free month's supply of Balance of Nature. Call 800-2468-751. That's 800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com.
Use promo code CHICAGO.
Hi, it's Amy Jacobson and Dan Proft here from Chicago's Morning Answer.
If you're a business owner, marketing manager, or if you make the marketing decisions for a business, listen up. We've got an offer you need to hear.
This Christmas season, we're partnering with Food for the Poor to raise money to help children and families suffering in Haiti and Guatemala. And we want you to partner with us, and we're going to put our money where our mouth is.
If you make a $2,500 tax-deductible donation to Food for the Poor on behalf of your business, we will give you an AM 560 marketing package free of charge. That package includes 40 60-second commercials that will air on this station Monday through Friday between 5 a.m. and 8 p.m. If you want to reach an upscale, affluent, engaged audience, then you need to become an AM 560 business benefactor.
Food for the Poor is one of America's largest and most respected charities, and 95 cents of every dollar they raise goes directly to help those in need.
To learn more about how you can become a business benefactor, call Michael Mann at 847-871-1527. Again, that's 847-871-1527. And thank you in advance for your generosity.
If you're an IT services pro or you just manage IT in your organization, you know how important data storage is. Hiding a server in the back closet next to the coffee filters? Well, you don't have to be running for president to know that's a dumb idea. Today, you need data storage solutions that are safe, secure, and ready for anything, run by professionals who care about you and your business. New Continuum Data Center is a cutting-edge West Chicago co-location facility that's 80,000 square feet of cooled and connected awesome. But don't think of us as a data center. Think of us as the people inside the data center. Talented pros who are monitoring your servers 24/7. We're here to customize solutions, answer questions, carry out tasks to your exact specifications, or just get out of the way while you work in our comfortable, secure, state-of-the-art facility. Whether you need a single rack, a secure cage, or a private suite, or just aren't sure, let's talk about designing the right solution for you. Visit newcontinuum.net/radio today and get up to 3 free months of service just for taking a tour. Some conditions apply. That's newcontinuum.net/radio, or call 1-800-432-COLO and mention this radio ad.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
Hi, I'm Mick O'Rourke, President and CEO of Signature Bank. We'd like to wish you happy holidays from our Signature Bank family to your family.
I'm Kevin Vestuga, co-founder of Signature Bank. There's no better place to be for the holidays than Chicago.
And this is Brian Duncan, co-founder of Signature Bank. Whether it's ice skating under the lights at Millennium Park,
or my favorite, visiting Candy Cane Lane in Lincolnwood to see the Noonan House with the tree magically rising through the roof,
or attending the annual tree lighting in downtown Downers Grove.
We wish you the very best this holiday season from Signature Bank, Chicago's business bank.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. Learn more about turning your business vision into reality. Visit signature-bank.com. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Hey, it's Mike Gallagher here to introduce you to Jack Amberg. Jack is a retired Army Lieutenant Colonel and a certified top VA loan provider who can help you obtain the perfect loan. Jack, tell us a little more about yourself.
Thanks, Mike. I was both enlisted and commissioned in the military, and I'm VA certified in all 50 states. My mission is closing the loan to fit the personality, goals, and needs of my veterans. We actually underwrite our own loans, so we're a one-stop shop. Many veterans don't know the true savings of using this lifelong benefit.
Tell us how you approach working with realtors as part of the process.
I work closely with my realtors. My mission with them is to close the loan as quickly and as efficiently as possible.
Jack, how can we contact you?
You can call me at 630-995-5244 or online at yourvaguy.com.
Jack Amberg at 630-995-5244 or go to yourvaguy.com. Thanks, Jack.
Banker NMLS number 698289. The Federal Savings Bank is an equal housing lender and member of FDIC. NMLS number 411500.
A couple years ago, I had a severe accident which disabled my right hand and caused chronic pain and complete suffering. It took many years before really we figured out exactly what it was or how to treat it. My whole goal was I did not want to be on high levels of pain medicine. After some time, I went to see Dr. Kenneth Candido to try to figure out the source of the pain and a solution and how to solve it. He listens. I'm going to cry because it's so real. I've been through so much, and he wants to help his patients, and he's there for me whenever I need him.
This is Ken Candido of Chicago Anesthesia Pain Specialists. I have a simple message for you. If you or someone you love or someone you know has chronic pain, contact us. Treating chronic pain issues is what we do. We can make it better. Get an appointment and let's talk. MyPainChicago.com, MyPainChicago.com. All the info is available at MyPainChicago.com. Let's make you pain-free.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Donald Trump's real enemy, not globalism, says Hernando de Soto, Peruvian economist, who we'll speak with at 6:06.
And some good news for you Cub fans, we'll explain. But first, into the newsroom we go. Here is Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, a report says Donald Trump will not be visiting Chicago this week. Coroner says 2 workers at a subdivision in Lockport were shot to death. WIND Chicago News Time is 6 o'clock.
Fox News Radio, I'm Lisa Brady. What started as a call for help ends with an officer down and a standoff in Washington State. Fox Radio's Tanya J. Powers with more live.
Police believe the person who shot the officer in Tacoma still barricaded inside the home where the officer was responding to a domestic disturbance call. That's when he was shot. Now his partner radioed dispatchers with the news.
My partner's down inside the residence. Copy. Partners down inside the residence.
Audio courtesy of Broadcastify.com. Now, police say it's also possible the suspect could have left while police were removing their wounded officer from the scene. The officer died at the hospital after undergoing surgery. The neighborhood's been locked down as a precaution, Lisa.
Thanks, Tanya. Angry protests in Charlotte after prosecutors said an officer won't be charged in a September shooting that sparked riots.
You're a liar. Your whole department ain't y'all kill us dead in the street.
The DA, backed by 14 other prosecutors who reviewed the evidence, say Keith Scott did have a gun and that Officer Brent Vincent acted lawfully, the family considering a civil lawsuit. The president-elect kicks off a thank you tour tonight in Ohio as he continues to work on building a cabinet. Fox Radio's Rachel Sutherland, live in Washington.
Lisa, first stop from Mr. Trump, Indiana, where he'll tout a deal to keep Carrier from moving jobs to Mexico. Advisor Kellyanne Conway.
Join with Carrier and announce that 1,000 jobs or so will remain in the United States of America. It's exactly what he ran on.
Then the president-elect will hold a thank you rally in Cincinnati, Ohio tonight as he kicks off his tour of states that helped propel him to victory. This, as the transition team says, the competition for Secretary of State is narrowed to 4 candidates, including Mitt Romney, Rudy Giuliani, Senator Bob Corker, and retired General David Petraeus. Lisa.
Thanks, Rachel. Hackers hitting more than 1 million Google accounts with malware. Security firm Check Point says they're getting in through apps on Android devices. One way to avoid it, only use Google Play to get apps. Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
36 degrees outside, cloudy skies, winds are west at 14. Giving us a morning wind chill of 26 above. It is 6:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. It appears Donald Trump will not be coming to Chicago after all. Chicago Tribune reports police department spokespeople have been preparing for the president-elect to arrive today and leave on Saturday. However, a police spokesman says they have now been in contact with Secret Service, and the department is not preparing for a visit at this time. Cubs co-owner Todd Ricketts will be working for the president-elect in the Commerce Department. Chicago Mayor Rahm Emanuel congratulating Ricketts yesterday after Trump selected him to be Deputy Secretary of Commerce. An autopsy reveals 2 construction workers found dead in Lockport were shot to death. The Will County Coroner's Office identifies those victims as Marco Sanchez and David Sanchez. The brothers discovered Tuesday morning. Mayor Emanuel denying that fear of political retribution is why the city is moving so quickly to secure any federal money they can for the CTA's massive Red Line rehab project. Get the latest on developments on this story with AM 560's David Stewart.
The City Council created a TIF district to generate the local match for the $1.1 billion federal grant, aiming for an end-of-the-year deadline. Mayor Emanuel says it's not so the grant's approved before Donald Trump takes office, but because...
I know what the residents want. I know when they're in a slow zone. I know what it is to walk into a station that is not up to 21st century standards. So the rush, if you want to use that term, is because I know what it's like to be stuck in rush hour.
But CTA officials fear if the process does roll over to the new administration, the approval could be slowed down or worse. David Stewart, NBC News Radio, Chicago.
The Lakers turn back the Bulls 96-90 last night. Blackhawks battle the Devils tonight at the UC. College hoops, DePaul winners over Drake. Illinois State beat IUPUI. Indiana State, the Sycamores down Northern Illinois, while Loyola foiled Norfolk State. The news service of Subway. Now at Subway, Thursday is Italian BMT Day. That's today. And a $3.50 sub of the day. The Italian BMT, no artificial flavors or colors from artificial sources. For just $3.50 for a 6-inch sub. Great sub, great price. There's a different $3.50 6-inch sub every day, only at Subway. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Dennis Prager believes we were on the verge of disaster.
The shellacking has just been awesome. It is a rejection. I don't say it's permanent. The country was at a precipice. Had she won, I would not have this smile on my face. It would have been perhaps irreparable, the damage that the left has done, as it does everywhere. Look at Western Europe.
The Dennis Prager Show, weekdays at 11, right before Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
I'm Nick Soboleski, a Select Quote agent with a true story that could save you hundreds of dollars a year. A woman named Linda just called. Her husband, Ray, has a $300,000 group life insurance policy, but is changing jobs and can't take it with him. Well, I impartially shopped the highly rated term life insurance companies we represent and found Ray, who is 41 and takes medication to control his cholesterol, a 10-year, $500,000 policy for under $26 a month. That's almost twice the coverage for less than half of what he had paid. If SelectQuote hasn't shopped for your life insurance, you're probably paying too much.
For your free quote, call 1-800-467-5125. That's 1-800-467-5125. 1-800-467-5125. Or go to SelectQuote.com. We shop. You save. Get full details on the example policy at SelectQuote.com/commercials. Your price can vary depending on your health, issuing company, and other factors not available in all states.
Our time is 6:06. Let's get an update on the roads in our AM 560 traffic center. Here's Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. Outbound Kennedy right near Ontario. Stop for a tire changer now on the left shoulder. Kennedy has no real outbound delays. Inbound, just a little congestion approaching Cumberland. Edens is fine. Inbound Eisenhower, heavy Manheim to First Avenue. 36 minutes, Thorndale to the post office. Outbound 30. Stevenson now 45 minutes, 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive. 30 from the Tri-State. Outbound it's good. Right, already 27 minutes, 95th to downtown, clear outbound. I-57, 23 minutes, I-80 to the merge. Bishop Ford, 40. Jammed, Sibley to the right, and there was some earlier road work there. Northbound Tri-State a little tight at 290. Traffic is a service of Staples. Staples Print and Marketing Services helps your business promote holiday sales and provides fast turnaround on cards, invitations, even banners and signs. Right now, get 20% off custom holiday cards and invitations. Staples, make more happen. Ends 12/24 or at Staples stores or staples.com. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte at AM 560 The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center. Here is meteorologist Ashley Benoit.
Mostly cloudy and breezy today with a shower in places, high 43. Mostly cloudy tonight as well, low 32. Breezy tomorrow, times of clouds and sunshine throughout the day, high 40. And cloudy and cold Saturday, high 38. I'm Ashley Benoit on AM 560, The Answer.
Currently 34 at O'Hare, 35 along the lakefront. Your next news update is at 6:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Illinois Lake County Right to Life. Visit LCRTL to make a donation or get involved.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning. What is up, Dan and Amy? So the question is intervening by President Trump to keep companies like Carrier in Indiana in this country. Is that good public policy or bad public policy? Robin Maynard, who works at the Carrier facility in Indiana, he thinks it's pretty good policy. He was on Fox and Friends yesterday and said this.
I would like to tell him thank you for going out of your way and taking your holiday away from your family and working on the Carrier and employees deal and sticking to your word and going to bat for all of us at Carrier and keeping our jobs here. And I'd like to thank him and Mike Pence for doing it so quickly.
Certainly workers who get to keep their jobs, you can understand why they think it's good policy, and it's because it's good for them. And nobody wants to see anybody lose their jobs. But if you get into a kind of neo-mercantilist track, there are implications to that as well. And if you recall during the campaign, Amy, when I've had problems with Trump and certain economic policies he's promulgated, I have referred to him as a neo-mercantilist and tried to explain the problems, but with that philosophy. But somebody who is much better positioned than I to address that issue is Hernando de Soto. He's a Peruvian economist. He's the president of the Institute for Liberty and Democracy, and he's the author of the book, The Mystery of Capital. Mr. de Soto, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Delighted to be with you.
Well, I've enjoyed your writings for some time now. I want to get back to a piece you wrote a couple of years ago about how capitalism can combat terrorism. But first, your most recent piece about Trump in the Wall Street Journal, and you write that the real enemy for Trump is mercantilism, not globalism. What do you mean by that?
What I mean by that is that, when I read what Mr. Trump has had to say during the campaign, on the one hand, try and piece it together from the point of view of somebody who doesn't live in the United States, who is not American, and who works in about 30 countries in practically every continent, that many of the problems that he points out and that you've just enunciated are actually the way most of us see it outside the United States. In other words, what is called globalism or globalization has in many cases begun to cease being in everybody's interest as it is put together, and that we all have an interest in a common agenda, and that there are things that Mr. Trump is saying that probably most people throughout the world would not disagree with.
Are you following?
In the sense that mercantilism, which tends to bounce back, it's what people call the iron law of the oligarchy, is what's happened, and the system has to be reviewed.
Are you following the Carrier situation closely? I mean, they're promising to keep 1,000 jobs in Indianapolis, but 1,400 people work there, and they're afraid that, they're going to have to cut back on their wages in order to keep the plant in Indianapolis.
I'm sorry, it didn't come through. I'm in Rome, and your question didn't come clear.
Oh, you're in Rome. Okay.
It's the question about Carrier in Indianapolis. The story out yesterday about Trump intervening, although it's really state incentives, but Trump intervening and Pence intervening to save that company and keep it in Indiana rather than going to Mexico.
I see. Well, one would have to look at the particulars of the case. You know, one of the problems about a market economy anywhere is that it continually displaces people. It's probably displaced more Americans than it has foreigners. I mean, one of the things that's typical about us non-Americans, if you ask me where I come from, I will tell you from Arequipa, Peru. I will tell you my place of origin, while an American will come around and tell you where he actually lives today, regardless of where he was born. So you've moved around a lot, and I can understand the fatigue. But one would have to see, when it comes to competition, really, you know, where are the advantages and disadvantages and correct them to the benefits of everybody. I don't know the case of Carrier directly.
Well, let's just take a step back here, because we're using terms, and I think people impute different definitions onto these terms than maybe are warranted. Globalism versus mercantilism. Explain what mercantilism is, because I think, as you're kind of indicating, when people hear globalism, what they're really thinking is of the crony capitalism that has pervaded market economies, including in the U.S.
That's right. The general idea here is mercantilism was the way it started off everywhere in the world, the way capitalism started off. It wasn't always a very happy game, and it was, as a matter of fact, what actually privileged people did, which is one of the reasons so much migration to the United States. First of all Europeans who came to the United States, all the way from the 17th all the way to the 19th century. At the beginning, it left a lot of people behind. Anything like the film of Scorsese, The Gangs of New York, will illustrate that. What I'm trying to say is that inside this game of natural and welcome competition, there have been a lot of people that have rigged the system to favor themselves, and a lot of people unnecessarily have to leave the places they work in. So the issue isn't the division of labor internationally, which I don't think we're going to be able to get away from, but take away its perversions, take away the fact that it can be extremely hard on people, and do justice by keeping as many jobs as you can where people actually live and want to be without getting to results of exclusion or export of jobs that are absolutely and unnecessarily carried out for the purposes of simply protecting low costs someplace else. So mercantilism is really the defiguration, if you want, or the distortion of competitive capitalism to the point that everybody's unhappy.
And I want to go to a piece that Tyler Cohen wrote for Bloomberg. Tyler Cohen, the George Mason University economist, talking about Trump's pledge to keep jobs in the United States at all costs. And he writes a couple of things. Using the law to forbid factory closures would have serious negative consequences. Those factories may be losing money, end up going bankrupt. Another, stopping the closure of old plants would lock the U.S. into earlier technologies and modes of production, limiting progress. He also suggests that a policy limiting American companies to move funds outside the U.S. would create new government powers that are dangerous, essentially giving the federal government the power to control the movement of capital, which we don't want in a market economy. Are those fair concerns that Tyler Cohen raises?
I think they're fair. Tyler Cohen is a well-renowned economist, a very brilliant economist, as you said, from Mason. The thing I think behind all of this is that the way at least we and my kind of people see this from abroad is that the way the system has been structured now, the way bilateral agreements take place, as I think Mr. Trump correctly says, actually favors those who have really high-level contacts in any capital of the world. And it's been done in such a way that many of these bilateral or regional agreements, international agreements, are riddled with little tunnels where privileges come through. So what I think is intolerable in the light of the interdependence of the world is the fact that some people have actually created privileges within the system. And I believe that when we get down to the nitty-gritty, down to the wire, we will see that many of the things that Mr. Trump clearly is sensitive to, and so are you, and so am I, is the fact that a lot of these useless exports of jobs abroad are not warranted. Other items, of course, are those of competition, which are only natural. And what Mr. Tyler Cowan is saying is that in many cases you will find that the cost of dismantling something in case it were fair will be probably higher than just leaving as it is. I don't know the case of Carrier. One would have to see it case by case. There may be things that will be tremendously advantageous to Americans, and there may be other things which will require at least a renegotiation or adjustment. What is clear is that globalization has to be negotiated because it can't be that you're unhappy with it, the Europeans are unhappy with it, the Middle East is unhappy with it, and we're unhappy with it too.
Well, Donald Trump is obviously promising a lot of changes. From what you're hearing, are other countries worried about President Trump taking office, or do they think it'll be mostly business as usual?
No, that's a very good question. I'm afraid that for the moment, and that's for the reason I wrote this article in the Wall Street Journal, most people are very disconcerted. They feel that you are the most powerful nation in the world, and that he will govern for a very elitist class in Peru. I read something else into the message. I read the fact that the campaign focuses on what's been unfair to America, and that if we actually take it to a table where we can diagnose it, we will find out that he is actually right, but not only in the name of America, but in the name of the world. And that would be a good idea to look at it, because if it isn't looked at that way, eventually, and that is something I fear because the United States is a democracy, it's always fought for the right causes, the United States would lose its leadership. So the only thing I'm begging for, calling to attention, is to understand that what's interesting about his campaign, if just tweaked in one different sense, like saying, does this happen in other countries, we will probably find a lot of common ground, more than people think of abroad, who have generally tended to think that President Trump would govern to their disadvantage.
Well, right. I mean, so it's rather ironic that mercantilists from around the world are worried that Trump is going to be a mercantilist. So, I mean, and I think your point about there's a lot of different ways to go after these trade agreements that present carve-outs for elites. There are things that Trump could do that would signal more principled kind of America First policy. For example, something Republicans have defended, the Export-Import Bank, which is a mercantilist tool to give favored status to favored inside bigger elite players, too. So I think it has yet to play out, but there's the possibility, if you attack some of the problems from the right angle, that you get to the right outcome.
Well, absolutely. I mean, when you mentioned the Export-Import Bank, I studied that some time ago, I must admit, but nevertheless, the advantages, for example, that from what my results were, that Americans receive from getting subsidies or good export credit finance to go to foreign markets is minimal compared to that which Europeans or Japanese get. I mean, there you are at a tremendous disadvantage, and it would be very good to internationalize the issue. In other words, not only campaign against the Exim Bank in the United States, if that's what you want to do, but also ask foreigners to look at how much they're subsidizing their own exports. And you will find that you will get more by talking to the rest of the world than just by doing it by yourself, because they practically rig the whole system of winning competitive bids all over the world, because they actually have more favorite items that favor their exports than you actually have in your Exim Bank. This looks like an issue where it can, where Trump's agenda can actually be of benefit to all of us.
Yeah, provide leadership or build consensus by providing leadership in the direction of free markets and the free movement of labor and capital, rather than playing the industrial policy game that the rest of the world is playing.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Thank you. I got to ask you this question. I want to go back to this piece that you wrote for the Wall Street Journal a couple of years ago, because it's such an interesting argument. The piece is "The Capitalist Cure for Terrorism." and how, opening markets and engaging in countries whose economies are not particularly robust because they're closed societies could be a way to blunt the impact of radical Islamic terrorism. Just make your case for that. And you make a comparison to something you know very well, the Shining Path in Peru.
Well, yes, and let me tell you, not only the Shining Path, I have a documentary that comes out, I understand, 2 or 3 times a week late at night and public broadcasting system, which is my interview of those people in the Middle East and North Africa who at the beginning of the Arab Spring, as a matter of fact, they triggered it off because they self-immolated. You will remember that people committed suicide in the streets. Well, I did something with a few Peruvians that then got very widely published throughout Europe, in the Middle East, over 178 newspapers in the Middle East, and is now, as I said, in PBS, and it's called Unlikely Heroes, where I identified the people who had self-immolated and brought down 4 Arab governments in scarcely the first 2 months of 2011. There were about 64 of them, and the reason I tell you I interviewed them is because 37 of them survived. And I went patiently one after the other over when I had free time to interview them. And their characteristic is that they were all businessmen. In other words, they were self-immolating, not about Islam. We have the films of them when they are actually setting themselves on fire, because you don't do that simply to be discreet. When you set yourself on fire, you want to make a statement. So there are people around with cameras. We've got the films, and none of them make a religious statement, and none of them make a national statement. They make a statement as businessmen that the state has been squashing them and not letting them carry their business and expropriating them. So my argument here is the following one. If you actually look at the reasons for which they self-immolated, which is the lack of free markets, their lack of the right to form a company, their lack of having property rights or limited liability to protect their assets, you will find that just creating free markets will stop a lot of the violence, because it is not about Islam, at least in the cases I've seen. I haven't found one, and that doesn't mean it doesn't exist. It just means that it isn't the one that sparked off the Arab Spring, and that actually there is a misreading in thinking that this is an extremist movement. I think it is now, but that's because I think it would have produced excellent or interesting.
He was a street merchant. You're right. I mean, that's one of the more celebrated cases. Hernando de Soto.
But not only that, when he died, he said his statement was, the poor also have the right to buy and sell. Sounds to me like a free market policy.
Me too. Hernando de Soto, Peruvian economist, president of the Institute for Liberty and Democracy, author of the book, The Mystery of Capital. Mr. de Soto, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thank you for your interest. Thank you.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
Before you see it on TV, share it on Facebook, or read about it in the paper, hear it here first. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Light drizzle on this December 1st. We're going to have cloudy skies today, just kind of a gray day, a high of 43. And tomorrow breezy with times of clouds and sun, a high of 40 degrees. Let's see how the outbound Kennedy's doing. Here's Jim Telemonte.
Well, thanks, Amy. On the outbound Kennedy right now, it's pretty quiet. There was a tire changer near Ontario. That's cleared. But now we're seeing some congestion between Foster and Sayre. About 22 minutes downtown to O'Hare. Inbound 23, slow in pockets from the River Road toll to Montrose. Edens is fine. The Eisenhower. Delays start at Wolf Road. 43 minutes, Thorndale to the post office. Outbound 32. Stevenson, 48 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound, it's fine. Ryan, 30 minutes, 95 to outside Bishop Ford. Really rough. 40 minutes, 80-94 to the merge. Delays start around Sibley. Northbound Tri-State delays. Cicero to the 83rd Street toll. The Stevenson to 31st. And from the Reagan all the way to North Avenue. Eastbound Reagan's always stop and go Naperville Road to Yackley. Crash in the 2 center lanes. And Algonquin Road is closed in Algonquin between Main Street and Piatt. There's an overturned truck. On Jim Talamonte in the AM 560 Traffic Center.
Townstone Financial is synonymous with great rates, low closing costs, and phenomenal service to the thousands who have completed purchases and refinances with us since 2002. Hi, my name is Barry Sterner, owner of Townstone Financial. Let's hear about the Townstone experience from one of our customers.
I'm Christopher Nowak, a real estate agent with Castline Properties here in Chicago. At the closing table, there's never any issues when I do a deal with Townstone Financial. All the documents have been sent in plenty of time. The buyer knows what they've got to do, what they need to bring to closing, what their responsibilities are. There's never any questions. And no matter how complex the deal or how difficult it was, the result at the end of the experience is that the customer is always happy with the service they receive.
Remember, nobody values your business more than Townstone Financial, and I'm always available to answer your questions. Call me now, Barry Sterner, at 312-896-2111. That's 312-896-2111. Or go to townstone.com. That's TOWNSTONE.com.
Townstone Financials, Indiana, Michigan, Wisconsin, Florida, Illinois, mortgage licensee 6629 and NMLS 136639. Equal housing lender.
AM 560, The Answer.
Got a long list of donors here. People are helping us this Christmas season as we raise money, food for the poor. We've teamed up with that charity this year. And gosh, Robert and Wheaton, David and LaGrange. Oh, look at here. Dan Proft from Chicago.
Yeah.
Donated $50.
More to
Thank
come,
you.
I'm sure.
Yes. But we Food for the Poor, it's a great organization. They've been around since 1982. And what it is, they help people in third world countries. They help people in Haiti and in Guatemala. And considering the devastation that happened a few months ago with Hurricane Matthew, the need is really important. They were devastated by that hurricane, and already a fragile country. And it has decimated children and their families, and they're on the brink of starvation, so the need is urgent.
So if you want to join Diane in Momence, Robert in Buffalo Grove, who kicked in $100, Joe in Naperville, who kicked in $100, William from Chicago, who gave a gift of $30 a month for a year.
Wow, that's nice.
Albert in Northbrook, James in Deerfield, Leonard in Downers Grove, Brian in Berwyn, Michael in Mundelein, all over the metropolitan area. If you want to join them, here's the easiest way to do it. Make a gift of $50, which provides food for a year and water for life for a child in Haiti or Guatemala. Our goal this Christmas season, 1,500 children in Haiti and Guatemala to be provided with food and water for life. The easiest way to make this happen, to participate, to help, is 855-880-3663, the number 855-880-FOOD. Make a gift over the phone with a credit card, or if you have a cell phone, just dial pound 250, say the keyword food at the prompt, or you just go to our website, 560theanswer.com, and search for the keyword food, and you'll be prompted as to how to participate.
And if you're a business owner or make the marketing decisions for your company, we have a great program. It's our business benefactor. It's our business benefactor program. And here's the deal. If you make a one-time donation of $2,500, that's tax deductible. All of the money goes to Food for the Poor. You'll be providing food for a year and water for life for 50 children. And as a way of saying thank you for your generosity, we will give you 40 60-second commercials that will air right here on AM 560 between 5 a.m. and 8 p.m. Monday through Friday.
And something about business benefactors. Yo, yo, yo. Amy J. in the HIZA. C.H. Hansen Company, Gatto Industrial Platers. Thanks so much for joining the Business Benefactor
And if you want to become a business benefactor, here's what you do. Call Michael Mann, 847-871-1527. That's 847-871-1527.
Connect with Dan and Amy on the AM 560 The Answer mobile app. Just text the word app to 64636 to download the app today.
Hey, this is Eric Metaxas. Lately, I've been telling you about Liberty University's online degree programs. Knowing Liberty and the founding family of Liberty like I do, I really wasn't surprised when I learned how dedicated Liberty University Online is to serving those who have served in the U.S. Armed Forces. If you're considering completing your degree and you're a service member, veteran, or military dependent, allow Liberty University Online to honor you on Veterans Day and the entire month of November by helping begin this easy process. Liberty is the world's largest Christian university with over 95,000 students studying around the world through Liberty's online programs, and serving those who've served us fits right into the culture of this great university. Pick up your cell phone now, dial pound 250, say the keywords Liberty University. That's pound 250, say the keywords Liberty University. Dial pound 250, say the keywords Liberty University now. Flexible, affordable, possible. Liberty University Online. Again, that's pound 250, say the keywords Liberty University.
Hey, have you ever mistakenly deleted a file? I have, and gone into panic mode. Are you still trying to figure out cloud migration?
Do it in your rap style. Have you ever deleted a file up in here?
Do you know how to implement a hybrid integration? If you want to save time and money, then let the professionals at Turnkey IT customize a solution that's sized just right for your company. For 20 years, Turnkey IT has been the brand businesses trust for their IT needs. Why? Because Turnkey IT understands small businesses just like yours. And with monthly plans available for your team of 100 or a plan customized for your individual system, Turnkey IT has a solution. They even have equipment included if you want to go all in. Their team of professionals help users every day with network monitoring to help desk to on-site support 24/7, folks. Weekends, 365 days a year. So stop worrying about your technology and let it work for you. Visit turnkey.pro today to see how simple and affordable it can be to focus on your business without worrying about the technical stuff. That's turnkey.pro, turnkey.pro. Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
MC Amy will be back to discuss men and women in political office who have affairs. Are they treated differently? The Wiener's back. Appropriate time to discuss at 6:36.
But first, into the newsroom we go. Here's Mike Scott.
Clouds and 35 degrees. President-elect Donald Trump sets out on a victory tour of sorts today. Trump and Vice President-elect Mike Pence, the governor of Indiana, will first visit a Carrier air conditioning plant in that state to announce a deal to keep jobs at an Indianapolis factory. This evening, Trump will rally in Cincinnati to thank Ohio for helping swing the election his way. A Tacoma, Washington police officer is dead. He was shot responding to a domestic violence call. Police spokeswoman Loretta Kuhl fought back tears as she confirmed the death of the officer.
We've suffered a great loss. I think the community has suffered a great loss. I don't know how to put that into words.
Several escaped the home immediately after the shooting. The gunman was believed to be barricaded in that house as of early this morning. There are also reports that that gunman may be on the loose. The death toll is rising due to fires in Tennessee's Great Smoky Mountains. Sevier County Mayor Larry Waters says search crews found 3 more bodies, pushing the number of dead up to 7. Dolly Parton is going to help those, she says, who've been burned out by the Tennessee wildfires.
We want to make sure that the Dollywood Foundation provides $1,000 a month to all those families that have lost their homes in the fires until they get back up on their feet.
The country music superstar was born and raised in East Tennessee, where the fires have killed again at least 7 and damaged or destroyed more than 700 buildings. Police in Charlotte, North Carolina, arrested several people as protesters filled the streets last night after prosecutors decided not to charge a police officer who killed a black man in September. Legendary astronaut Buzz Aldrin being airlifted from the South Pole this morning for medical reasons. The National Science Foundation says it's providing a medical evac for the 86-year-old Aldrin. He was on the Apollo 11 mission, you may recall, with some guy named Neil Armstrong. It was the second person to walk on the moon. Chicago sports. Lakers turned back the Bulls last night, 96-90. Blackhawks battling with the Devils on the ice this evening. And baseball fans, no worries about a labor stoppage. The players' union and owners have a verbal agreement now on a new tentative 5-year labor contract. The news service of Subway. Head into Subway to get the Reuben, a classic stacked with a hearty portion of lean ground beef, then Bavarian-style sauerkraut, Swiss cheese, and creamy Thousand Island dressing, all on new, freshly baked rye bread. Head on over to your local Subway and get this classic before it's gone. Available for a limited time only at Subway. 6:35 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Sean Hannity says we need to listen to our defense specialists.
In this Ohio State attack, you had a Somali man, Abdul Artan, a student at the university, Somali refugee. And I kept saying, well, why aren't we listening to our National Intelligence Director, Clapper, and our House Homeland Security Chairman, McCall? Because they all said radical Islamists will infiltrate the refugee populations.
The Sean Hannity Show. Afternoons at 2, right before Joe Walsh at 5 on AM 560. The Answer.
The most recent U.S. Supreme Court decision on the Affordable Care Act made one thing certain. We will all have to deal with this ever-changing law until at least 2017. If you're tired of calling a bureaucrat at an 800 number to help you navigate Obamacare, then you need a local expert on your side. That's right, your own health insurance mentor. C. Stephen Tucker from healthinsurancementors.com is someone I know and trust. He's a 20-year licensed broker who's been educating AM 560 listeners on the Affordable Care Act for the last 5 years.
Thanks, Dan. From now until January 31st, you cannot be denied coverage based on a pre-existing condition. Aetna, Coventry, United Healthcare, and Harkin Health no longer offer health insurance subsidies even if you qualify. One company still does, and they still offer plans that provide access to Northwestern Memorial, University of Chicago, and Rush University medical centers. Call me. I can help.
Thanks, Steve. How can our listeners get in touch with you?
They can visit healthinsurancementors.com or call me directly at 630-674-1551. That's 630-674-1551.
Everywhere you go, people are talking about how much they save on their wireless service with Consumer Cellular.
Plans start at just $10 a month.
I get the best price for what I use.
With no contracts.
And no surprises. No wonder Consumer Cellular receives the highest customer satisfaction ratings from consumers like you year after year.
The best part is, you never pay for more than you need.
Consumer Cellular has been providing great service for 20 years and became an AARP provider in 2008.
We chose the perfect family plan, just for two.
And we've been saving a ton since we switched.
Consumer Cellular. Plans start at just $10 a month with no contracts. Get free shipping and free activation, a $35 value. AARP members can save even more with special discounts. Start your 30-day risk-free trial today. Go to getconsumercellular.com or visit a Target or Sears store today. AARP receives royalty fees for the use of its intellectual property.
There's no question that the economy's turbulence keeps you up at night. It's difficult to know what the financial market has in store next. You want to focus on the future well-being of your business and be sure that your family will be taken care of and their future provided for. The real question is, what can you do to maximize your future business challenges and opportunities? Attend the Newsmakers Forum Business Outlook 2017, hosted by the Daily Herald Business Ledger in partnership with AM 560, The Answer. For $45, you'll get lunch, attendance to this limited seating expo, and most importantly, valuable financial market insight. It's all about education, information, and networking. The conference is Thursday, December 8th at beautiful Cantini Park in Wheaton. Educate yourself at Business Outlook 2017 by reserving your spot online at dhbusinessledger.com or call 630-955-3593. That's dhbusinessledger.com or 630-955-3593.
6:39. Let's get a check of the roads. AM 560's Jim Talamonte.
Mike, the eastbound Reagan Tollway is jammed 59 to Yackley, where there's a crash blocking the left lane. North on Tri-State, heavy Cicero to the 83rd Street toll from the Stevenson to 31st, and from the Reagan Tollway to Grand Avenue. Eden's 30 minutes, Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 21. Kennedy, 35 either way between O'Hare and downtown. Eisenhower, 45 minutes, Thorndale to the post office, outbound 35. Stevenson, 58 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Ryan, 30 minutes, 95th to downtown. Traffic, service of Account Temps. The 2017 Salary Guide is here. Check it out for instant access to the up-to-date salary forecast. More than 400 accounting and finance jobs where you live. Visit them at AccountTemps.com. Account Temps, Robert Half Company. It's traffic, AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the AirComfort.com Weather Center. Cloudy, breezy. Be a shower in spots throughout the day. Mostly rain, but maybe a flake or two of snow, and a high of 43. Cloudy and 32 overnight. Currently, drizzle and 37 at O'Hare. Next news coming up at 7. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Military Mortgage Talk with host Tony Gatliff. Sunday mornings at 9 on AM 560, The Answer.
If you're talking about it, I'll be talking about it. Dennis Prager here. Join me this morning at 11, right here on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. So wieners pop back up again.
Hey! Oh, you've been waiting all morning to say that. Haven't you, Dan?
Anthony Weiner, Carlos Danger. What's his? He had another handle. Now I've forgotten it. T-Dog.
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 Oh my God. Who calls himself T-Dog?
Not me.
Not me.
Not
Stay
anymore.
out of my business.
Not after Anthony Weiner came on. So Carlos Danger, T-Dog.
Is he in
Mrs. Carlos
jail?
Danger was spotted at Elizabeth Arden the other day getting her hair done. She was looking none too happy. The smile is gone.
The smile, the love is gone. Well, she's
Yeah.
not with her girlfriend anymore.
Well,
on a daily basis, because
yeah.
there's no need to be with her on a daily basis. Was Elizabeth Arden here or in New York?
No, New York.
Oh, okay. Well, you never know.
Danger has just arrived back from a month-long stint in a Tennessee rehab facility because,
for sex addiction,
he
right?
has an addiction. He's not just a sexual predator, of course. We'll let law enforcement be the judge of that. Hopefully his prosecution is in the not-too-distant future. But, so he's back, and they're living in the same quarters.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Are they making another documentary? Or is this a new reality TV show? Living with a Wiener? Living with a fallen wiener.
I think they, yes.
No, living with a weak wiener.
How about when our marriage went limp?
The Mr. and Mrs. Wiener story.
My impotence at stopping my sexual predator husband.
He should be in jail. I mean, I felt so bad for that 15-year-old girl that he was sexting. She even wrote a letter to James Comey saying, "Why did you reopen this investigation? You've made my life hell, essentially."
Well,
because
I'd like
she's
to
being
see.
sought after by so many media outlets.
I'd like to see what kind of hell could be visited upon Carlos Danger in a federal penitentiary.
Well, why isn't he already in jail, and why is their son still in their home?
There's an investigation ongoing, I suppose.
Well, it's not moving fast enough for me, Dan.
Yeah,
I
well.
don't understand different rules for different people.
Well,
Mhm.
speaking of that, there's this Daily Beast piece
Rawr.
yesterday.
Sorry.
Yes. Aaron Gloria Ryan penned
Mm-hmm.
it. The top line, cheating men get a second life in politics. Cheating women get a scarlet letter.
Oh, the big S on your chest, yes.
Or A, as the case may
Or
be.
A.
Yes, I don't know if you've read the book, Hester Prynne. So here's the question.
Yes.
Men who have affairs, talking about politicians in elective office, or high public profile men in politics and government, like General Petraeus. Men who have affairs.
Like Bill Clinton. Yeah.
There's one standard.
Mm-hmm.
Women who have women in public office, elective office, high profile public positions, women who have affairs don't get a second chance. They get the proverbial scarlet letter. Is that true? 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line. Or are we to a point with Bill Clinton and now Donald Trump and so many politicians who've survived sex scandals, if you will? Many have not. Many have. Many have been reelected. And I'm not just talking about Bill Clinton. That's Scott DesJarlais in Tennessee, that congressman from Tennessee who admitted under oath to at least 6 affairs, including 2 with his patients and staffs while he was staffers while he was a physician at a medical center in Jasper, Tennessee. He also, while running on a pro-life platform, pressured his ex-wife to have 2 abortions.
Oh, my God.
And tried to persuade a mistress who was his patient into an abortion as well.
And he was reelected?
Reelected. He's a Republican, too, by the way. This is not
right.
Republican-Democrat. This is the behavior. So is that fair? Or at this point, the second half of the question, I mean, women and men treated differently, I guess, is the first half.
A double standard, yeah.
The second half, okay, well, let's develop that. But the second half is, does it matter at all? Do we even care about that? Or have we gotten to this place where somebody's private conduct in their marriage or in business doesn't matter as long as they vote my interests when they're in office? 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line. 646-36DA, turnkey.pro text line. Amy, you wanted to tackle the first half of that question?
Well, I mean, look at Donald Trump. I mean, clearly America has spoken. They know that he's had 5 children from 3 different wives, and he had affairs on his first wife, and he had an affair on his second wife, and they're okay with that. So moral character, commitment to marriage, I don't think it matters anymore, which is very sad, but I think it's true. And as for women, I mean, come on, there is a double standard for women and for men out there when it comes to even perceived appearances of impropriety.
Well, the author of this Daily Beast piece that I've referenced, she provides a case study. One Amy Koch, it's either Koch or Koch, I think it's Koch. She's a former majority leader in the Minnesota State Senate. In 2011, she was the subject of a press conference called by 4 male state senators, the purpose to issue a moral rebuke over an extramarital affair she had with a colleague. In the ensuing weeks, Ms. Ryan reports, the 4 men would force Ms. Koch, the state's first ever female majority leader, to move to an office far from theirs on a different floor. Nobody would move into her vacant office before the end of the term. And she had to leave the home that she shared with her husband of 18 years, move back in with her parents, and so on and so forth. I mean, now she had an affair. That's not in controversy. She said the press conference that I've described, she said, people called it the Scarlet Letter Award ceremony. I didn't watch it. I'll never watch it. That was the day the news of her affair with a male Senate staffer went public. Her colleagues turned on her, called on her to resign from her leadership position. She's a Republican, by the way. And then she announced that she would not seek re-election. And she didn't.
I wonder if she would have won if she sought re-election.
Well,
I mean, because, again, men could do it. Look at David Petraeus, Rudy Giuliani.
David Petraeus hasn't been re-elected to anything.
No, he hasn't been.
The question is, if it was a female general,
right,
would she have survived? But I mean, if it's much more so. Rudy Giuliani,
So are women held to a higher moral standard?
You have had high-profile men resign, though. I meenMark Souter in Indiana, he had an affair, chose not to seek re-election. I mean, essentially was kind of forced out over the affair. John Ensign, the former Republican senator from Nevada, same thing.
And then who was on the Appalachian Trail? They couldn't find him.
Mark Sanford.
Mark Sanford. Yeah, he resigned. I mean,
he was forced out. Now he came back and ran for Congress and won.
Yeah. So that's an example of. Oh, and by the way, that Brazilian woman left him.
So the question
it worked out well.
The question is, though, I mean, is it something where, because it seems to me that the case law on this is very uneven. Some people ask forgiveness and seek forgiveness and leave office. Some people never address it at all in any material way and win office, win re-election. Some seek forgiveness then win re-election. I mean, it's kind of all over the map. So it seems to me this is so personality-driven rather than morality-driven.
Well, remember when they tried to bring down Governor Nikki Haley, trying to start rumors that she was having an affair on her husband? And
yeah, but there wasn't enough evidence.
There was no there.
Yeah, there was no evidentiary support other than one man's accusation, and she ultimately obviously won re-election twice, and now she's the U.S. ambassador to the UN, or she's about to be. So yeah, I mean, rumors is one thing, but I'm talking about when the evidence has been presented, it's overwhelming, the point has been conceded, then how people react to it. And it seems to me, look at Newt Gingrich when he ran for president in 2012. That was an issue for some, but it seems to me a marginal issue. It was not an issue for many. And I just think it's so personality-driven, not morality-driven. Do people agree with me? 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line. Margot in Burr Ridge.
Hi. I don't think it has a bearing on a person's ability to do what they need to do in their office. So I don't hold that against anybody. And I don't know too many women that have cheated that publicly, so I can't really compare that. But I would say in the instance of Bill Clinton, it's a little bit different because when he was cheating with Jennifer Flowers, well, she's just like him. But it really bothered me that he went after Monica Lewinsky, who was 20 years old, 22, had no attention from her father, divorced from her mother. Believe me, her weight, California, I lived there. She wouldn't have gotten a lot of attention from young men. So that girl's only attention in life has been from this 50, 60-year-old pervert. He ruined her life. And I really, really was upset the day I listened to Kathleen Willey on your station and heard about what they went through, to intimidate her. That goes way beyond having affairs, way beyond.
Yeah.
And so I think that, as Amy said, I think David Petraeus, I mean, he is supposedly the most gifted general that we've had. I don't think that should be held against him that he had an affair. I think we got to utilize people with their failings, because only Jesus was perfect, right? These people are not perfect. They're people.
Thanks for the call, Margot.
But he did give his lover, classified material.
Yeah,
for her biography.
Right. I mean, the kind of whole nobody's perfect. How far do you take that? There are mistakes that warrant different assessments, sins that warrant different assessments. There's a difference between a venial sin and a mortal sin, for example, right?
Exactly.
Tom on the north side.
Hi, my comment is, as far as marital fidelity or infidelity in the candidates, you really didn't get much of a choice. Both candidates have a pretty long history of marital infidelity. So, given that, you kind of got to go to your next decision point as to who you're going to vote for.
Yeah, thanks for the call, Tom. I mean, the conversation we're having is bigger than Hillary versus Trump. It's more kind of a question of standards for elected officials. Do we have any?
I'm Lou Dobbs. Trump's energy strategy prompting OPEC to cut oil production, and the Federal Reserve looks at raising interest rates later this month. Those stories next.
Bill Bennett here to tell you about Augusta Precious Metals. Attention, investors. Your IRA or your 401k may be at risk again. The 2008 crash wiped out up to 50% of IRAs and 401ks. Can you afford to lose again? What if you could store IRA or 401k savings where you can see, touch, and hold it in your hands? With the Augusta Gold or Silver IRA, you transfer a portion of retirement savings into physical coins you can actually see and get fast in case of any disaster. Call Augusta Precious Metals today for a free gold and silver IRA guide. No obligation. Augusta Precious Metals, A+ Better Business Bureau rating, 98% 5-star customer satisfaction rating with TrustLink.org. Trust Augusta. Call Augusta Precious Metals today at 1-855-222-6993. That's 1-855-222-6993. One more time, 1-855-222-6993.
OPEC oil ministers say they'll cut production for the first time since 2000, abandoning OPEC's strategy of squeezing U.S. competition through high supplies and lower prices. Their move is seen as a reaction to President-elect Trump's promise to free up more oil drilling in this country. Ahead today, economic reports on jobless claims, motor vehicle sales, and an update on chain store sales. The Federal Reserve says the economy grew at a modest rate this fall. The Fed's Beige Book survey of economic conditions all across the nation will be a key factor in its deliberations later this month on whether to raise interest rates. Levi CEO Chip Bergh going political, telling his customers not to bring their guns into his stores in states where it is legal. Please join me for Lou Dobbs tonight, 7 and 11 Eastern on the Fox Business Network. This is the Lou Dobbs Financial Report.
Did you get a bad night's sleep? Were you sleeping on a flat pillow? Were you flip-flopping during the night or waking up feeling unrested? Well, then I suggest you order a MyPillow today. MyPillow has a patented interlocking fill that adjusts to your individual sleep needs. It conforms to your neck and back so you get the best sleep ever. Washable, dryable, made in the US of A, and guaranteed not to go flat for 10 years. So if you're thinking about that tough person to buy for on your holiday list, right now is the best time to buy a MyPillow. For a limited time, when you buy one MyPillow, you receive a second for free. So keep one for yourself, give one as a gift, plus 2 free Go Anywhere pillows. The money-back guarantee is extended through March 1st. So visit MyPillow.com, click the Radio Listener Special tab, and use the promo code Amy. Again, 2 premium MyPillows, 2 Go Anywhere pillows, all for the price of one, plus that extended money-back guarantee if you're not satisfied. Or call 800-489-0201, mention the Radio Listener Special tab, and be sure to use the promo code Amy. That's MyPillow.com or 800-489-0201.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
I've had 10 major surgeries, including 3 brain surgeries. And I have extreme rheumatoid arthritis, lupus, and fibromyalgia. And I wanted to let him know that his Balance of Nature have helped boost my immune system so much, because I'm on injectable medications for the rheumatoid, and they bring down your immune system. Since I've been taking Balance of Nature, I haven't gotten a cold, nothing. It really helped me tremendously.
Good health is only a phone call away. What are you waiting for? Don't miss your opportunity to get a free month's supply of Balance of Nature. Call 1-800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code CHICAGO.
This season just got a little more special thanks to the M.J. Miller & Company holiday catalog. Open the cover and feast your eyes on stunning jewelry in vivid hues modeled by M.J. Miller customers. Perhaps you'll recognize someone. Turn to page 36 and view today's hottest engagement ring trend. Verragio, brides-to-be covet the intricate, detailed mountings designed to suspend the diamond while exposing it to all facets of light. And the possibilities are endless when it comes to customization. Hey, ensuring your ring is truly one of a kind. M.J. Miller & Company has one of the largest selections of Verragio settings in the Midwest. But seeing is believing. Call 847-381-7900 and ask for your free M.J. Miller & Company holiday catalog or visit their store in downtown Barrington. Call 847-381-7900. M.J. Miller & Company, your trusted family jeweler.
Hey, this is Eric Metaxas. Lately, I've been telling you about Liberty University's online degree programs. Knowing Liberty and the founding family of Liberty like I do, I really wasn't surprised when I learned how dedicated Liberty University Online is to serving those who have served in the U.S. Armed Forces. If you're considering completing your degree and you're a service member, veteran, or military dependent, allow Liberty University Online to honor you on Veterans Day and the entire month of November by helping begin this easy process. Liberty is the world's largest Christian university with over 95,000 students studying around the world through Liberty's online programs, and serving those who've served us fits right into the culture of this great university. Pick up your cell phone now, dial pound 250, say the keywords Liberty University. That's pound 250, say the keywords Liberty University. Dial pound 250, say the keywords Liberty University now. Flexible, affordable, possible. Liberty University Online. Again, that's pound 250, say the keywords Liberty University.
When I listen to Audible, I'm not cooking dinner for one. I'm on horseback, galloping across the Scottish moors towards my one true love. There, through the mist, I see my beloved, kilt flapping in the breeze. The fibers of his shirt struggle against his bulging muscles as he takes me from my horse and... my frittata!
Go to audible.com/act now, and your first download is free. Audible, stories that surround you.
Liberty Mutual Insurance presents a story about pickles.
It's 2 a.m. and your pregnant wife needs pickles. So you pick up some green happiness, but hit a parked car. Great, something else to worry about. Luckily, Liberty Mutual Insurance has 24/7 claims assistance, so you can take care of your claim right away. Problem solved. Now, if only you bought the right pickles.
Visit a local office or call 844-8-LIBERTY. You can leave worry behind when Liberty stands with you. Liberty Mutual Insurance. Coverage is underwritten by Liberty Mutual Insurance Company.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
A nasty woman, a Chicago entrepreneur, writes a letter to Trump. 7:07.
And later, good news for Cub fans. Oh, but first, into the newsroom we go. Here's Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, the coroner says 2 workers at a Lockport subdivision were shot to death, and the House okays a symbolic measure in Springfield. WIND Chicago News Time, 7 o'clock.
Fox News Radio, I'm Lisa Brady. An accused cop killer is dead in Tacoma, Washington, where police have just confirmed a standoff is over. Fox Radio's Tanya J. Powers with this live.
Yes, Lisa, the threat is over in that neighborhood where a Tacoma officer was shot yesterday. That is according to Pierce County Sheriff's Detective Ed Troyer.
Suspects down, deceased. No other officers were hurt. There's multiple weapons in the house.
2 children were also taken out of that home. The officer, who has not been identified, was responding to a domestic disturbance call when shots were fired yesterday afternoon. He later died at a hospital after undergoing surgery, Lisa.
Thanks, Tanya. Door-to-door searches in Gatlinburg, Tennessee for wildfire survivors or more bodies.
It's a major job because you have trees down, you have power lines, down, which is some of them are still alive. You've got propane tanks leaking.
Mayor Mike Werner considering whether to reopen parts of the devastated city tomorrow. At least 7 dead in the fires and 2 more in severe storms, even as 2 nights of rain helped fire crews. 3 others killed by tornadoes in Alabama. President-elect Donald Trump is about to hit the road. Fox Radio's Rachel Sutherland, live in Washington.
Lisa, Mr. Trump will tour the Indiana Carrier factory, where 1,000 jobs are not moving to Mexico after all. White House Press Secretary Josh Earnest praised the deal brokered by the president-elect, but said he has a long way to go matching President Obama's job creation record.
The early indications are that this is good news, and obviously we'd welcome that good news.
Later today, Mr. Trump heads to Ohio, part of his thank you tour. At the same time, work continues on his cabinet. Former ambassador to the UN John Bolton is said to be in the mix, along with Rudy Giuliani, Mitt Romney, and retired General David Petraeus. Lisa.
Thanks, Rachel. Since election night, the president-elect has only had one broadcast interview with 60 Minutes. He will have a second one with Fox's Sean Hannity airing tonight. You're listening to Fox News Radio. Fair and balanced.
We have cloudy skies in Chicago, 35 degrees at 7:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. Officials say an arrest warrant for first-degree murder has been issued in the deadly shooting of a security guard in South suburban Harvey. Authorities have not revealed the identity of the man believed to have gunned down Tyrone Harden on Saturday. He was on duty at the Canadian National Railroad Yard. Authorities say the suspect shot Harden just after crashing a stolen vehicle near 159th and Park Avenue. A former Northwest Suburban High School choir director is accused of having sex with his former students. Police say Justin Hubley is facing allegations of providing alcohol to ex-Crystal Lake Central students and engaging in sexual activities with them at his home. 35-year-old was arrested Tuesday, charged with misdemeanor battery and unlawful delivery of liquor. Hubley had served as Central's choir director since 2004 and was a teachers' union leader before resigning earlier this month. Cubs co-owner Todd Ricketts will be working for President-elect Donald Trump in the Commerce Department. Mayor Rahm Emanuel wishing him well.
And we'll have a relationship and a dialogue that will be good for the city of Chicago, good for the state.
The son of the TD Ameritrade founder and donor Joe Ricketts will work under Wilbur Ross, who was picked for Commerce Secretary. A man is dead after being hit by a truck in Chicago's Loop. The tractor trailer slammed into the victim yesterday in the 100 block of West Congress Parkway. An autopsy reveals that the 2 construction workers' brothers found dead in Lockport were shot to death, according to the Will County Coroner's Office. And no one is in custody after a FedEx truck was stolen on Chicago's South Side near 74th and Vernon. The Illinois House has approved a symbolic measure expressing opposition to passing any income tax increase during the lame duck session, when fewer votes are required and outgoing legislators don't have to worry about re-election. Legislators approved that resolution on the matter on a vote of 87-12. Lakers turn back the Bulls 96-90. Blackhawks battle the Devils tonight. The news, a service of Staples. Staples Print and Marketing Services helps your business promote holiday sales and provides fast turnaround on cards, invitations, even banners and signs. Right now, get 20% off custom holiday cards and invitations. Staples, make more happen. Ends 12/24. More at Staples stores or staples.com. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Christmas is less than a month away, and this year, give the gift of sunshine. Grab your passport to paradise and join Dan Proft, Amy Jacobson, and Joe Walsh at Secrets Cap Cana Resort and Spa in beautiful Punta Cana. It's an unlimited luxury adults-only resort with all the amenities you can imagine. Give this trip as a gift to a loved one or treat yourself this holiday season. Visit 560theanswer.com and search for the keyword passport.
I'm Nick Soboleski, a Select Quote agent with a true story that could save you hundreds of dollars a year. A woman named Linda just called. Her husband, Ray, has a $300,000 group life insurance policy, but is changing jobs and can't take it with him. Well, I impartially shopped the highly rated term life insurance companies we represent and found Ray, who is 41 and takes medication to control his cholesterol, a 10-year, $500,000 policy for under $26 a month. That's almost twice the coverage for less than half of what he had paid. If SelectQuote hasn't shopped for your life insurance, you're probably paying too much.
For your free quote, call 1-800-467-5125. That's 1-800-467-5125. 1-800-467-5125. Or go to SelectQuote.com. We shop. You save. Get full details on the example policy at SelectQuote.com/commercials. Your price can vary depending on your health, issuing company, and other factors not available in all states.
7:06. Let's get an update on the roads in our AM 560 traffic center. Here's Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. Algonquin Road is closed in Algonquin from Maine and Hyatt due to a rollover truck. Edens is 30 minutes. Lake Cook to Montrose, southbound 23. Kennedy, 41 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, 16 from Montrose, 15 in the Express. Outbound, 36 to the airport. The Eisenhower, 50 minutes. Thorndale to the post office, outbound 38. Stevenson, 58 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, 45 from the Tri-State, outbound 44 minutes to 355. The Ryan, it's 30 minutes, 95th to downtown. Bishop Ford, 40 minutes, 8094 to the Merge. Northbound Tri-State, it is heavy, 115th, most of the way to 31st. The Reagan Tollway, much of the way to 190. But Adams Tollway heavy, Beverly to 59, and Beecham to 53. Reagan Tollway, Jad, Farnsworth to Yackley after a crash. Veterans Memorial slow from Mountain Toll to Reagan Tollway. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte, AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center. Here's our meteorologist, Ashley Benoit.
This afternoon becoming cloudy and breezy with a high at 45. It'll be cloudy and breezy tonight, shower in spots, low 35. Cloudy, breezy day tomorrow, a shower in places, and a high near 44. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560, The Answer.
Currently 37 in drizzle at O'Hare, 35 along the lakefront. It is 37 in Aurora. Your next news update is at 7:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by with Dr. David Kolbaba. Health Quest Radio is heard Saturday mornings at 11 o'clock here on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning. Welcome to your Thursday morning briefing. Here's what you need to know to start your day.
Ricketts' business background, fundraising efforts, and devotion to conservative economic policies is why Trump tapped Todd Ricketts.
If I were in office right now, Carrier would not be leaving Indiana. That I can tell you. That I can tell you.
Some people are saying this is a Christmas miracle here. We're going to keep our jobs, and I'll be happy. I mean, the kids will be having a good Christmas, and we won't have that worry of Daddy won't have his job.
The other thing you better get used to is, and you're going to see it this week when the President-elect and I hit the road, is a President Donald Trump is not just going to be talking to Congress. He's going to be talking to the American people.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. It's worth noting, I have not yet to mention it. Congratulations are in order.
For the Cubs?
No. Nancy Pelosi.
Oh, yeah.
She's reelected.
68% of the
House Minority Leader. Yeah, 68%. So, almost a third of the vote for Tim Ryan. Kind of better than I expected. I thought it wasn't close. I don't think anybody expected it to be close, but it does highlight some discontent within the Democrat caucus. But the good news is that the supermajority of Democrats took nothing away from this election.
Really?
Nancy Pelosi, still your House Minority Leader. Hillary Clinton, going to be your 2020 nominee.
Oh, yeah. You know what?
Fantastic.
She's fired up and ready to go. I don't know if you saw her. She was with Katy Perry, her girlfriend.
Yeah.
Uma was upset because, she felt like she was cheating on her. And just said that she's going to be back.
Someone whose powerful voice and creative lyrics remind us when you get knocked down to get back up.
Powerful voice. You just miss a shake when you get
someone who
beaten down to get back up.
As you saw in the video, is a deeply committed humanitarian. We need champions like Katie now more than ever.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh! So she was introducing her at a humanitarian
And then
Dinner.
Hillary broke into a rendition of Teenage Dream in honor of Bill Clinton, because that's his favorite song.
Stop it.
I mean, creative lyrics. She's a humanitarian.
Well, because she raised $1 million for the Katharine Hepburn Foundation.
Yeah. I mean, it's just hysterical. There's just endless entertainment.
But she said, just like, I'll be back. That's what she said.
Yeah, okay, Arnold. So we got her as your 2020 nominee. So you got Pelosi there. And then, you got a choice between a black Muslim separatist, Keith Ellison, as your DNC chairman to replace cheater Donna Brazile, or the president of NARAL, Elsie Hogue, who is abortion on demand all the time, up until you can abort your child up until he or she no longer qualifies to be on your health insurance. So up to the age of 26 is Elsie Hogue's position.
Things are looking good for the Democrats.
Yeah, no, I mean...
Got a deep bench there, yeah.
We weren't far enough left. We weren't doing enough bigot baiting. We weren't doing enough apologizing. We weren't doing enough running down America. We need to, increase that 3 to 5x. And that's what they're doing, and I love it. By the way, when I say Keith Ellison, or Keith Hakeem, as he was once known.
Wait, what's his real name?
As a black separatist.
Keith Hakeem?
That was at least a nom de plume. Under the name Keith Hakeem, while in law school, Keith Ellison, the congressman from Minnesota, you know him as today, wrote, quote, "Finally, blacks would have the option of choosing their own land base or remaining in the United States. Since black people toil most diligently in the southeast section of the United States, this land quite naturally would be most suitable. That means Arkansas, Alabama, Georgia, Louisiana, and Mississippi. Blacks, of course, would not be compelled to move to the black state. And, of course, peaceful whites would not be compelled to move away." He wanted a black state. Asked about Ellison's op-eds during his time as law school, was this just a youthful indiscretion? He was in law school at the time. He wasn't, a toddler, although he's grown up to be a toddler. Asked about that, dizzying intellect Hank Johnson, congressman from Georgia, said, "I don't see anything really objectionable. What he apparently proposed was a partitioning of the United States into a southeastern section." Well,
okay.
So what's wrong with that?
What could go wrong with that?
Hank Johnson, here's what he proposed. He proposed a black state and partitioning the southeastern section of the United States off from the rest of the United States. What's wrong with that? Okay, Hank, you will recall Hank Johnson.
Oh, is this our Guam guy?
That's our Guam guy.
I got to hear it again.
He was very concerned, not very concerned about the partitioning of the southeastern section of the United States from the rest of the country, but very concerned about Guam capsizing because of a decision that was in the offing to locate more Marines on our military base on Guam.
Island that at its... No, this is a island that at its widest level is, 12 miles from shore to shore, and at its smallest level, or smallest location, it's 7 miles between one shore and the other. Is that correct?
I don't have the exact dimensions, but to your point, sir, I think Guam is a small island.
Very small island.
Yeah, small island.
About 24 miles, if I recall.
More
long.
details.
So 24 miles long, about 7 miles wide at the least widest place on the island, and about 12 miles wide on the widest part of the island. And
wait for it.
He's an explorer.
I don't know how many square miles.
Yeah, we'll find out. Somebody get on that stat.
Do you happen to know?
I don't have that figure with me, sir. I can certainly supply it to you.
He's talking to the Admiral of the Pacific Fleet.
That the whole island will become so overly populated that it will tip over and capsize.
Wait for it.
We don't anticipate that.
We don't anticipate that. Could you imagine you're Admiral Willard, the commander of our Pacific Fleet, listening to Hank Johnson with barely a room temperature IQ, if that.
How in the world?
Drone on about the dimensions of Guam, and then suggest that Guam could tip over if we located more Marines there.
Go tip over.
Because, you see, Guam is just floating on the surface of the ocean. It's not moored to anything.
How is he a politician? That is embarrassing for all elected officials.
It's certainly embarrassing for the constituents of his Georgia district who continue to reelect him. But Hank Johnson is, part of, he can't spend his time worried about what Keith Ellison wrote once upon a time or worried about partitioning America based on race.
It was Keith Hakeem.
But he can't spend his time obsessing about these things because he's got to worry about islands flipping over based on the number of military personnel we deploy there.
And square mileage of the...
Oh, boy. Ralph and Rantoul, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Yeah, lily pad Hank. Everybody knows tanks are really heavy. Marines, all that gear they carry, maybe they could lighten up. To me, listen up, people of Illinois. This is proof that the only people that are more stupid than Hank Johnson are the people that continually vote him in. You don't like the government you're getting? Vote different people.
Thanks for the call, Ralph. A good question from 847. If all the blacks move to the southeast, will the country flip over? I don't know. I don't know. I'm not an expert in this area. I think that's a question we should put to Hank Johnson. If that were to come to pass.
If you're talking about it, Dan and Amy are talking about it. It's Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Just kick all the white landowners out.
But you have to spread them out so that nothing flips over as you're
redistributing human weight. Oh my gosh. Today, December 1st already, folks. It's going to be cloudy, breezy, light drizzle on and off throughout the day. Brisk high of 43 degrees. Then tomorrow, real breezy with times of clouds and some sun, but cooler, a high of 39 to 40 degrees. Any traffic tie-ups? Here's Jim Telemonte with the answer.
Well, Amy, the Reagan Tollway could be in danger of flipping over. We have way too many cars on the eastbound side and very few westbound. There was a crash at Yackley.
We'll check with Hank Johnson on that.
Yeah, right. Anyway, it's a huge delay from the Aurora Toll Plaza to Yackley with all those cars on the eastbound side. Big delays there. The crash still there on the left shoulder at Yackley. The westbound side is wide open, very light traffic. The Eden's 30 minutes, Lake Hook to Montrose, outbound 23. The Kennedy, 41 minutes, so O'Hare to downtown, outbound now 40. The Eisenhower's a 50-minute drive. Thorndale to the Loop, outbound 38. Stevenson, 58 minutes, 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 44. Ryan, 30 minutes, 95th to downtown. Northbound Tri-State really heavy this morning with delays starting at 115. That's traffic, AM 560, The Answer.
If you like our little show here in the morning, then you need to check out our little website called upstream-ideas.com, which complements what we do on this show with long-form interviews with opinion leaders and policymakers who, unlike Hank Johnson, know what they're talking about. That's Against the Current. We've got my 60-second commentaries. We have Man on the Street interviews following the logic or the lack thereof. We've got podcasts of our Illinois Rising program on Sundays, which is an hour-long program that focuses on state policy and politics. All you do is go to Upstream-Ideas and sign up to enjoy that premium content.
Did you know that if you have mutual funds in your IRA, 401k, or investment accounts, that according to Forbes magazine, you could be paying as much as 3.17% in hidden fees every single year? 3.17% may not sound like much, but over 10 years, it's costing you 32%, whether your fund is up or down. Hi, it's Tom Fortino of the Alpha Wealth Group in Chicago and host of the Alpha Wealth Hour on AM 560. This is just one of the reasons I hate mutual funds, and you should too. You may not know this, but you have far more investment options today without the excessive fees. Learn what they are in my free report, The Truth Behind Mutual Funds. What you learn may shock you. To get your free report, The Truth Behind Mutual Funds, call 630-519-4742. There's no obligation. That's 630-519-4742.
Investment advisory services offered through Retirement Wealth Advisors, Inc.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
Oh, I had my joints all ached. My sciatic nerve was really bad. Like 10 hours, my eyes were so tired and heavy and almost burning. And then when I woke up in the morning, there was this nagging pain. I mean, it hurt to open them. And just in a week, like, I don't have the nagging pain anymore. My joints stopped hurting, and I'm in wood season. I'm lugging wood right now, and I'm not hurting. So that's, like, amazing for me. I'm usually really suffering. It's pretty effective. And so now, like I said, my husband and I are both taking it, and he even said his joints aren't aching as much, and he's feeling better.
Good health is only a phone call away. What are you waiting for? Don't miss your opportunity to get a free month's supply of Balance of Nature. Call 1-800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code CHICAGO.
AM 560, The Answer.
What up, Dan and Amy? I think we need to cleanse our palates after having to discuss Hank Johnson. So, since we're still in this celebratory interregnum between the election and the inauguration, I thought I'd... oh, a nice fade out. I thought I'd offer up this montage of the leading lights of Western civilization who laughed at the idea that Donald Trump would ever be president of the United States. You're going to enjoy these. You're going to want to cherish these for the years to come, or at least the months.
There's not going to be a President Donald Trump. That's not going to happen.
Donald Trump will not become president.
Bernie Sanders.
He's not going to be president.
Pelosi.
He is not. Donald Trump is not going to be president of the United States. Take it to the bank. Okay. I guarantee it. All right.
I think if he becomes the president, he'll make it great because the states is already great.
I think that
Tom
man
Hanks
will be president of the United States right about the time that spaceships come down filled with dinosaurs and red capes.
On that note, Tom,
Take it from me. How about that?
Cheers, Tom.
And then, of course, there's Donald Trump. Donald Trump has been saying that he will run for president as a Republican, which is surprising since I just assumed he was running as a joke.
Seth Meyers.
Donald Trump, just last week, he confirmed to the National Review that he is again considering a run in 2016.
Do it.
John Oliver.
Look at me. Do it. I will personally write you a campaign check now on behalf of this country, which does not want you to be president, but which badly wants you to run.
So when you stand and deliver that State of the Union address, in no part of your mind or brain can you imagine Donald Trump standing up one day and delivering a State of the Union address?
Well, I can imagine it in a Saturday night skit.
Mm-hmm. And it was George Clooney laughing at the idea at the top.
Oh, that was
George Clooney and Tom Hanks and Seth Meyers at the White House Correspondents' Dinner and Barack Obama and Nancy Pelosi. When dinosaurs come in spaceships, said Tom Hanks.
One of my gay friends, he kept saying, "Oh, I can't wait. I hope Donald Trump wins because Hillary's going to crush him." And I'm like, "You better be careful for what you hope for."
Indeed.
Don't be so sure.
Well, so now we're in a more jovial mood. We've primed the pump for some generosity.
Yeah, our campaign started strong. We've paired up with Food for the Poor. And what they do is provide food, water, medicine, vaccinations, clothes to children in need in third world countries. I mean, Haiti in particular, that's the poorest country in the Western Hemisphere by far. And they were just devastated by Hurricane Matthew. So their economy already fragile, and now it's been decimated. Children and families are on the brink of starvation, folks. So the need is urgent.
Right. And we want to thank all of those people who've already participated, just a couple days in, participated in the program and have made generous donations, like Maureen in Cherville, Indiana, with a $100 gift, and Iris in South Bend, Indiana, with a $100 gift, and David in LaGrange, and Mary and Jim in Chicago, and Brian in Berwyn, and Jeff in Naperville, and Philip in Westchester, and Albert in Northbrook, and James in Deerfield, and Alan in Geneva, and so many more. To join all of those wonderful individuals, all you have to do is dial 855-880-3663. The number again, 855-880-FOOD. You can make a gift over the phone with a credit card, or you can use your cell phone. You just dial pound 250 and say the keyword food at the prompt. Or you can go to our website, 560theanswer.com, and search for the keyword food, and you'll be directed accordingly.
And right now we're just asking for a one-time donation of $50. And with that $50, you will feed a child for a year and provide water for life. So think about the impact of your gift. $50, but if you can just give 10 or 20 or, William from Chicago, he made a gift of $30 a month for a year. So we appreciate that donation. But gather your own kids, together, explain to them what Food for the Poor does and make a gift together as a family. I always make a donation on behalf of my well-fed children, and you can do the same. It's a great way to teach your kids about the importance of giving and caring for others, especially during this Christmas season.
That number again, 855-880-3663, 855-880-FOOD, or on your cell phone, pound 250, and say the keyword food. And then we have another program, as we normally do with these campaigns, our Business Benefactor Program, and we'd like to thank our friends at C.H. Hansen and Company, as well as Gatto Industrial Platers for already participating in the Business Benefactor Program. And that's a $2,500 tax-deductible donation. You'll provide food for a year and water for life for 50 children in Haiti and Guatemala with that donation. Remember, our overall goal, 1,500 kids in Haiti and Guatemala. That's how many we would like to help. That's our minimum threshold. Obviously, we'll help as many as we can. And if you make that donation, we give you, here at AM 560, 40 60-second commercials that will air on our airwaves between the prime hours of 5 a.m. and 8 p.m. Monday through Friday. It's the best advertising deal in Chicago radio.
And a lot of our business benefactors from the past are still advertising with us today because it's really a great way to take your business to the next level. And a lot of businesses want to test drive AM 560 before making a long-term commitment. And usually that's not possible. But for this campaign, you do get 40 commercials for just $2,500, and you'll be helping those in need. And you'll see what a great audience we have here at this station. So don't miss out on your chance to advertise on this station at an incredible discount when you become a business benefactor. And to do that, call Michael Mann. Get him out of bed. Actually, he's probably already up working out, but he's got his cell phone with him. He's ready to go. The number for Michael Mann, our director of sales, 847-871-1527. That's 847-871-1527. He can answer all of your questions, and you can become a business benefactor this year. And again, thank you in advance for your generosity.
This is the morning show more Chicago radio listeners are choosing. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
Hi, I'm Mick O'Rourke, President and CEO of Signature Bank. We'd like to wish you happy holidays from our Signature Bank family to your family.
I'm Kevin Vestuga, co-founder of Signature Bank. There's no better place to be for the holidays than Chicago.
And this is Brian Duncan, co-founder of Signature Bank. Whether it's ice skating under the lights at Millennium Park,
or my favorite, visiting Candy Cane Lane in Lincolnwood to see the Noonan House with the tree magically rising through the roof,
or attending the annual tree lighting in downtown Downers Grove.
We wish you the very best this holiday season from Signature Bank, Chicago's business bank.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. Learn more about turning your business vision into reality. Visit signature-bank.com. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
AM 560, The Answer.
Taking it to the streets.
Yeah.
You play that song one more time, I'm going to Yamo burn this place down.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
That was good.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Or you're talking about a 40-year-old virgin, not me. Sure. Can Trump populism be compatible with Reagan conservatism? We'll ask NRO's Andy McCarthy at 7:37.
But first, let's go back into the newsroom. Oh, by the way, eventually we'll get to that Cubs story. We will.
What Cubs story?
It's okay. Can I do this real quick?
Sure.
Right.
Take all the time you want.
They've decided that the All-Star game, whoever wins no longer determines home field advantage. So that's good for the Cub fans because we're going to have a winning record most wins, and then we'll have home field advantage, so then more Cubs fans can go to the World Series.
What if the NL won the All-Star game next year and the Cubs don't have the best record in baseball? Then you're going to be complaining that the All-Star game doesn't determine home field advantage.
The American League always wins the All-Star game, so this is good news for our National Leaguers. And now, with more news from here at home and around the world, here's a smiling Mike Scott.
34 degrees outside, and we'll watch baseball for you because there could be more moves later on today, including an agreement, a deal between the players and the owners that may prevent a lockout this spring. Donald Trump and incoming Vice President Mike Pence hitting the road to thank states that voted for him. Their first visit today will be to a Carrier plant in Indiana and then on to Cincinnati for a rally later tonight. The man believed to have gunned down a Tacoma, Washington police officer is dead. Authorities say that man, whose name has not yet been released, was fatally shot by police this morning after barricading himself inside a home for hours. The death toll from fires in the Smoky Mountains keeps rising in Tennessee. Sevier County Mayor Larry Waters says search crews have found 3 more bodies, pushing the number of dead up to 7. Congress today will vote on a deal to forgive debt owed by National Guard members who received bonuses even though they were not entitled to them. Congressman John Garamendi.
If that happens, then Guardsmen and women who were subject to these audits should have a deep breath of relief knowing that they are not going to be in a position of having to pay back those bonuses.
It is a compromise contained in a defense bill that calls for the Pentagon to forgive repayment unless those Guard members knew or reasonably should have known they were not eligible. Officials say an arrest for first-degree murder has been issued. A warrant has been issued in the deadly shooting of a security guard in South Suburban Harvey. A former Northwest Suburban High School choir director is accused of having sexual relations with former students. Police say Justin Hubley is facing allegations of both providing alcohol to ex-Crystal Lake Central students and engaging with them in sexual activities at his home. Illinois regulators yanked a doctor's license for running a cash-only pill mill and prescribing vast amounts of fentanyl and other addictive painkillers to patients in 11 states. Illinois is sharing information about Dr. Paul Madison with Indiana, where he also has an office. Michigan has barred Madison from practicing. Madison is Illinois' top prescriber of a fentanyl spray called Subsys and is a key figure in an Illinois lawsuit against that drug's manufacturer. Lakers turned back the Bulls last night. College hoops, DePaul beat Drake. Illinois State over IUPUI. Indiana State down Northern. Loyola, a win over Norfolk State. The news service of Napa Auto Parts. Participating Napa Auto Parts stores have Napa full synthetic motor oil on sale now for just $2.99 a quart. So keep your ride running longer and stronger for less. That's Napa know-how. General States pricing and offer expires 12/31/16. 7:34 is our time. We'll have a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
I'd say the same thing to a billionaire that I would say to somebody making $30,000 a year.
The Joe Walsh Show.
The money you make, the money you earn, the money you invest, that's your money, damn it. And I think it's your duty, it's your right to do whatever you can do legally to limit what you give government, because we have a government that's too damn big.
The Joe Walsh Show. Weeknights starting at 5. Right after Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
Hey, this is Eric Metaxas. Lately, I've been telling you about Liberty University's online degree programs. Knowing Liberty and the founding family of Liberty like I do, I really wasn't surprised when I learned how dedicated Liberty University Online is to serving those who have served in the U.S. Armed Forces. If you're considering completing your degree and you're a service member, veteran, or military dependent, allow Liberty University Online to honor you on Veterans Day and the entire month of November by helping begin this easy process. Liberty is the world's largest Christian university with over 95,000 students studying around the world through Liberty's online programs, and serving those who've served us fits right into the culture of this great university. Pick up your cell phone now, dial pound 250, say the keywords Liberty University. That's pound 250, say the keywords Liberty University. Dial pound 250, say the keywords Liberty University now. Flexible, affordable, possible. Liberty University online. Again, that's pound 250, say the keywords Liberty University.
Everywhere you go, people are talking about how much they save on their wireless service with Consumer Cellular.
Plans start at just $10 a month.
I get the best price for what I use.
With no contracts.
And no surprises.
No wonder Consumer Cellular receives the highest customer satisfaction ratings from consumers like you year after year.
The best part is, you never pay for more than you need.
Consumer Cellular has been providing great service for 20 years and became an AARP provider in 2008.
We chose the perfect family plan, just for two.
And we've been saving a ton since we switched.
Consumer Cellular. Plans start at just $10 a month with no contracts. Get free shipping and free activation, a $35 value. AARP members can save even more with special discounts. Start your 30-day risk-free trial today. Go to getconsumercellular.com or visit a Target or Sears store today. AARP receives royalty fees for the use of its intellectual property.
No matter what type of business you're in, having a strong business banking partnership can help your bottom line. I'm Jeff Boundy, president of Cornerstone National Bank and Trust Company. We strongly believe that trust, service, and relationship are the cornerstone of a successful business banking partnership. Customers like Dr. Steichen of Northwest Oral and Maxillofacial Surgery agree.
Hi, my name is Dr. Michael Steichen of Northwest Oral and Maxillofacial Surgery in Arlington Heights, Elgin, and Lake Zurich. As an oral surgeon and business owner, I recognize the importance of relationships. I need a bank that responds quickly and creatively and understands the unique needs of healthcare practices. Cornerstone has been a valuable business partner. It's helped me grow my practice and seize opportunities as they come up. Whether it's a line of credit, financing equipment, or real estate, Cornerstone is there for me.
Thank you, Doctor. Please visit cornerstonenb.com, or I invite you to give me a call at 847-654-3000 to explore a business banking partnership.
Equal Opportunity Lender. Member FDIC.
7:37. Let's get an update on the roads in our AM 560 Traffic Center with Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. The eastbound Reagan Tollway is a solid mess from the Aurora Toll to Yackley with a crash to the left shoulder. Westbound Tri-State very heavy from past Cicero to 31st. The Reagan Tollway to past North Avenue. Batters Memorial slow going. I-55 most of the way to St. Charles. Edens is 30 minutes. Lake Cook to Montrose outbound 23. Kennedy 41 minutes. O'Hare to downtown outbound 40. The Ike at Hour. Thorndale to the post office outbound 43 minutes. Stevenson, 58 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Bryan, 30, 95th to downtown. Traffic is a service of the 89-cent pancake deal at Burger King. How is this even possible? Right now at Burger King, you can get 3 pancakes for 89 cents. 3 hot, fluffy, golden pancakes for just 89 cents. Unbelievable but true. 3 pancakes, 89 cents only at Burger King. Limited time only, price and participation vary. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte, AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center. Cloudy, breezy. A shower or snow shower in spots, high 43. Currently drizzle and 37. Next news at 8. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by the Ayn Rand Institute and the Yaron Brook Show. Heard Saturday afternoons at 4 here on AM 560, The Answer.
Your money. Find out how to keep more of it and live debt-free. Tonight on The Dave Ramsey Show, starting at 7 on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning. What up, Dan and Amy? So we talked about this a bit yesterday, this back and forth between Andy McCarthy over at National Review Online and Utah Senator Mike Lee about conservatism in the Trump era. Mike Lee coining the phrase principled populism, and Andy McCarthy saying that is a contradiction in terms. And me siding with Andy McCarthy in that debate. It's very reminiscent to me of trying to kind of redefine something that doesn't need redefinition, meaning conservatism, just the way that George W. Bush added the compassionate adjective to conservatism, which is redundant. It's not about just the phraseology, it's about the explanation, and maybe that's where we fall down with respect to articulating conservative principles, the policies that flow from them, and the benefits to them. But for more on this discussion, we're pleased to be joined by the aforesaid Andy McCarthy, former federal prosecutor and a contributor to National Review Online, as I mentioned. Andy, thanks for joining us again. Appreciate it.
Morning. Good to talk to you.
So before we get into your tete-a-tete with Senator Mike Lee, I do want to get your assessment of Trump's cabinet so far, because it strikes me as, at this juncture, maybe more conservative than similar posts in the Reagan administration with his first term. I mean, you've got to like appointments like Jeff Sessions for Attorney General.
Yeah, I think Sessions is a terrific appointment, and I'm hoping because of, his, as I've said, my only hesitation about Sessions at Justice is that he'll be so missed in the Senate, where he really did some pretty essential and singular work, especially on immigration. But I do think, given that immigration is such a concern, and it's something that that was fundamental, I think, to Trump's campaign, my argument for years has been a lot of the immigration problem goes away if we just enforce the laws that we have on the books, which doesn't require anything like mass deportations. It simply means creating a climate so that people who act lawlessly are punished, especially the worst offenders. And most important, you create an environment where would-be offenders think twice about whether it's a good idea to come to the United States. So, I just think with that one change, which is a crucial change, a lot of improvement will be seen on that front.
Do you think Attorney General Jeff Sessions will go after Hillary Clinton or the Clinton Foundation?
I think he'll let the FBI do its work. And what that will mean, and this is a crucial difference, Amy, right now, in connection with the emails investigation, what we saw was the spectacle of the FBI and the Justice Department working at cross purposes. So the FBI is trying to do a critical investigation without the basic tools that they're permitted to have in every investigation, like the grand jury to subpoena evidence. And what you saw is this farce of everybody who got close to criminal liability was given immunity. So you have people given immunity all over the place, but nobody gets prosecuted. I think what you'll see is the FBI will be allowed to pursue the case as it should, and it will get help from the Justice Department instead of being battled with over basic things. And if the case gets to a point where it looks like there's something there, I would certainly recommend that they appoint I'd say a special prosecutor or an independent counsel, but it's got to be somebody with true independence and integrity that will be accepted that way on both sides of the aisle. Otherwise, it doesn't work.
Do you think Sessions should ask for Comey's resignation?
I don't feel comfortable weighing in on that because Comey's a friend of mine.
Okay.
And I think very highly of him. I don't think anyone's been more critical of the way that he handled the Hillary mess than I have. And, I was sorry to have to do that, but it's kind of my job to do that. But I don't really feel comfortable weighing in on what should happen to him. I think that that's going to be up to Trump and Comey.
Fair enough. Now, I want to get to this debate you had with Senator Mike Lee, and I will play the role of Senator Mike Lee because as a trained barrister myself, I can take either side.
See, I like you better already.
You guys are back on track. All right.
So the argument that Mike Lee makes is, to me, sort of a utilitarian argument for the political landscape as it actually exists, rather than maybe what conservatives wish it were. And the key phrase is his opening one. By partnering, conservatives can help a President Trump decentralize power. And Mike Lee is right to be focused on pushing Trump to be a federalist, to devolve power away from the federal government to states and localities. So that alone, doesn't it make sense to pursue at least an angle of intersection with the Trump administration that Mike Lee is advocating?
The funny thing is I agree with that, and I agree as far as substantive policy is concerned. I agree with just about everything Senator Lee said in the piece that he wrote in National Review. My contention simply is that it's not populism. It's conservatism, and I applaud it. But in many ways, I think it's kind of the opposite of populism. I understand that why he would want to tap into what's at least in the media being referred to as if it were the populist moment. I think that's grossly overstated. But let's assume for argument's sake that we're in a populist moment. Populism tends against the things that Senator Lee is arguing for, and in particular, the small government stuff. Well, I guess it's better to say limited government, because we want a government. We don't need a government that's small as much as we need one that's limited in the sense of the constitutional limits on its powers. What populism often does is try to sweep all those limitations away and endow a leader with the ability to do things that the Constitution wouldn't ordinarily allow them to do because they're popular, at least fleetingly so. And I just think that populism involves a lot of sometimes demagoguery, but at least scapegoating that conservatives aren't going to like over the long haul. So I just don't think it's a conservative philosophy. And I'm happy that Senator Lee wants to do conservatism, because I don't think anyone does it better than he does. But I'm not comfortable with it under the populist label.
Now, you took out a bit after our friend Steve Moore, friend of the show here, as you are. And we talked to Steve Moore yesterday, and I had him clarify some of the statements he made, like the $1 billion infrastructure stimulus plan that Trump has kind of proposed in general terms. And Steve Moore's central comment that, look, you're going to have to kind of give it to them. If that's what the people want, you got to give it to them. And I mean, I understand the criticism. I agree with it that you don't just give the people what they want. 50% plus one doesn't make something the right public policy, and you're forever kind of chasing popular opinion if that's your governing philosophy. But I think what Moore was suggesting is conservatives are going to have to swallow hard on some things that are more populist than conservatism. Maybe the infrastructure plan is one of them. But the kind of the balance of everything Trump's going to do is going to be in the direction of things conservatives would like, but there are going to be elements that you're just not going to like. And it was more a description of what's going to happen than necessarily a normative statement on what should happen.
Okay. That's fine. But I guess during the Bush administration, I considered myself essentially a supporter of the Bush administration. But when I thought they were wrong, I fought them on what I thought they were wrong about. And I would imagine we'll be doing that with Trump as well. I don't believe in a philosophy of give the people what they want if what they want is not good for them. But I believe in democracy. You have your argument, you make your best pitch, and if you lose, you lose. But,
right.
I hope Trump does well. I'm certainly going to support him. But I just think when he's wrong, you have to register dissent, because, the people may want a $1 trillion infrastructure plan. We've already been down that road with Obama, and it turned out we got very little infrastructure and a lot of debt. And we're a country that's $20 trillion in debt, which is now talking about imposing more debt on people who don't have a seat at the table right now, which is, future generations who are going to be saddled with what we're irresponsibly running up in our age. And I just don't think, the people today may want that, but I'm sure the people down the road are not going to want it. And
your critique of Mike Lee's use of the phrase principled populism, which I agree is an oxymoron, that's essentially your point. Does it come from a place, as Emerson said, first the language is corrupted and then the populace is, that these words we use matter. They have specific definitions. And you just get compassionate conservatism, principled populism. These are redefinitions that should be rejected.
Well, yeah, I think the language battle, Dan, is so important. I think that the left is much better at it than conservatives are, because they understand the power of language, and they dream up ways of changing, for example, abortion is choice now, right? Mm-hmm. And when you argue it in those terms, it's a very different argument. So, I think a lot of times we lose the language battle before we even know it's on. So I like to pay attention to it. And I think when we dabble in these terms like compassionate conservatism, to take that example, we're implicitly saying that conservatism isn't compassionate, when in fact I think it's the way to the most flourishing kind of free life that we can have, and prosperous one. So when people on our own side are making the suggestion that conservatism isn't compassionate unless you attend to it with some progressive elements, then I think we're halfway to losing.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. That's why in part why I came down on your side and why we enjoy having you on the show. He's Andy McCarthy, former Chief Assistant U.S. Attorney and now a contributing editor at National Review, nationalreview.com. Andy McCarthy, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me. Have a great day.
You too. And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
Listen to Dan and Amy on your smartphone. Download the AM 560 mobile app today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
I had some ulcer issues on my leg that I had from Vietnam. It would erupt on occasion of periods of stress. When I was taking juices, these ulcers had disappeared, but I was not able to get good quality fruits and vegetables to make good juices. And, these ulcers came back. But since I've been taking the fruit and the veggie capsules, these ulcers again have subsided.
Good health is only a phone call away. What are you waiting for? Don't miss your opportunity to get a free month's supply of Balance of Nature. Call 1-800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code CHICAGO.
The holidays are almost here, so drive north to avoid the Cook County taxes. For half a century now, Schrenk Smoke & Gun has been the firearm store generations of customers trust and maintain that family atmosphere. Schrenk's has over 700 firearms in stock, including an excellent selection of AR rifles to fit any budget, including Colt, LWRC, Ruger, FN, Smith & Wesson, civilian force arms that are made in Illinois, and much more. With Lake County's largest selection, there's new, used, and consignment pistols, rifles, shotguns, and an array of ammo. Even collectibles, older functioning hunting rifles, and full gunsmith services. From a first firearm and a FOID card or adding to your collection, now's the perfect time to shop Schrenk's. Also, hey, Dan, if you love cigars, you'll find your favorites in Schrenk's humidors. So visit smoketheletterN.gun.org or call 847-662-4034 for directions. Schrenk's Smoke & Gun in Waukegan, your family-owned gun store since 1964. That's 847-662-4034.
The secret to how the rich keep getting richer is by passing down their wealth, generation to generation. If you do the same thing, you'll be leaving a legacy and be doing one of the most important things possible for the people you love. The ugly truth is, you don't have an estate plan. Everything you own, including your house, cars, investments, everything could be tied up in courts for a year or longer. It could cost your estate tens of thousands of dollars in probate and legal fees, even double government taxation. You can avoid this painful, costly mistake by contacting Tom Fortino of the Alpha Wealth Group. Tom hosts the Alpha Wealth Hour, heard Saturday mornings at 9 on AM 560, and has been a featured expert on Fox Business, Fortune, and Money Magazine. Right now, Alpha Wealth Group is offering you a free estate planning kit if you call 630-873-6326. That's 630-873-6326. 630-873-6326. Investment advisory services offered through Retirement Wealth Advisors, Inc.
And now, a moment of objectivism with Yaron Brook and the Ayn Rand Institute.
As you weave your way through life, reacting to events, making choices and judgments, you reach important conclusions about the world and your place in it. Is the universe knowable or unknowable? Can you find happiness on earth, or are you doomed to despair? Do you have the power to choose and achieve your goals, or are you helpless against an unchosen fate? Do you deserve to be free, or should others make decisions for you? Even if you're not aware of the conclusions you reach or why you reach them, they form the foundation of your outlook on life, present in every moment, guiding your every decision and action. I'm an objectivist. What's your philosophy? From the Ayn Rand Institute, I'm Yaron Brook.
This has been a moment of objectivism from the Ayn Rand Institute. To learn more, listen to the Yaron Brooks Show, Saturdays at 4 on AM 560, and visit ariradio.com.
If you enjoy Yaron Brooks' Moments of Objectivism, consider making a gift to support content like this from the Ayn Rand Institute. ARI fosters a growing awareness, understanding, and acceptance of Ayn Rand's philosophy of objectivism to create a culture guided by the principles of reason, rational self-interest, individualism, and laissez-faire capitalism. To support this work, go to ariradio.com and click on the Donate button. Your tax-deductible gift will help to spread the message of Ayn Rand to the next generation. You've heard of living trusts and how they can help protect your assets, but you may not know if a living trust is right for you. Or maybe you have questions about creating your own living trust. The fact is, almost everyone can benefit from a living trust, which can protect your assets from the court system and your loved ones from unnecessary expense and inconvenience. Learn more at a free seminar Wednesday, December 7th. Estate planning attorney Robert Zapolis will explain how to create your own living trust, estate planning under the new tax laws, why a will does not avoid probate, and more. Have your estate planning and living trust questions answered absolutely free. Don't miss this important seminar Wednesday, December 7th at 6:30 p.m. at Papa Joe's Restaurant, 145th and LaGrange Road in Orland Park. The seminar is free and a complimentary dinner is served, but you must make a reservation now. Call 708-478-1400. Call 708-478-1400. Again, 708-478-1400.
My name is David Hochberg, Vice President of Lending at Pearl Mortgage. If you're looking to purchase a new home or refinance your existing home, give me a call. Stacy wanted to contact a realtor before purchasing a home in Plainfield. Bad move. Not getting pre-qualified by me before talking with the realtor is like sunbathing at the equator without suntan lotion. I pre-qualified Stacy to purchase a home and introduced her to Ron Wexler, my preferred Plainfield realtor. If you're purchasing a home, call me first. I'll pre-qualify you for free and introduce you to my experienced team of preferred realtors who will help you locate the perfect home. My team of real estate experts will always look out for your financial best interest. If you're buying a home, give me a call now at 312-751-1333 or visit am560david.com. I've helped thousands of AM 560 listeners, but I can't help if you don't call 312-751-1333 or visit am560david.com. Pearl Mortgage, an equal housing lender, Illinois Residential Mortgage License D4358, RMLA, NMLS 19186.
Mike Rowe here for 1 hour. Today, Chuck is jogging in place to make a point about energy efficiency.
I thought I was training for a marathon.
He's been at it now for...
3 minutes.
And already he's wearing out.
I'm not.
Your heating and air conditioning systems are a lot like Chuck.
Warm yet somehow cool?
Wheezing, wasting energy, and probably headed for replacement.
You're talking about the air systems, right?
Sure, pal. Sure. Call 1 hour before it's too late.
Can you do the disclaimer for me?
Each independent franchise is licensed in its respective state or county.
Thanks.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Dancer.
Fed getting money from seniors to pay for housing for persons here illegally at 808.
But first, let's go into the newsroom and say good morning once again to Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, President-elect Trump, Vice President-elect Mike Pence hitting the road today. Fox with the latest on their story. Meantime, Trump will not be visiting Chicago this week. Former high school choir director accused of having sexual relations with ex-students. And Chicago restaurants not getting the proper inspections. WIND Chicago News Time is 8 o'clock.
Fox News Radio, I'm Lisa Brady. A road trip for the president-elect, beginning what he calls a thank you tour tonight in Ohio, stopping first in Indiana, where Vice President-elect Mike Pence is still governor, to tout about 1,000 jobs not moving to Mexico.
Late last night, a carrier lifted the curtain themselves on some of the negotiations that the transition team had with them over the last several weeks since the election. And they say in part that the announcement that's going to be made today is possible because the incoming Trump-Pence administration has emphasized to us its commitment to support the business community and create an improved, more competitive U.S. business climate.
Fox's Peter Ducey at the Carrier plant in Indianapolis. The company also says incentives offered by the state played a role. A prosecutor's decision not to charge a police officer in a fatal confrontation, prompting protests in Charlotte, but not like the riots after the shooting in September. Fox Radio's Tanya J. Powers with this live.
The protesters are calling Charlotte-Mecklenburg District Attorney Andrew Murray's report a cover-up to protect white officers they say shot Keith Lamont Scott.
You're a liar. Your whole department ain't. Y'all kill us dead in the street.
The protests were calm, unlike September's clashes, which led to more than 100 arrests and 1 death. The DA's report says Scott was holding a gun and the officer acted in self-defense. The leader of the North Carolina NAACP wants a full federal investigation, too, Lisa.
Thanks, Tanya. An 11-hour standoff with an accused cop killer ends with the suspect dead. Police in Tacoma using a flash grenade, and the suspect was shot and killed. 2 children found unharmed. An officer responding to a domestic disturbance call at the home was shot multiple times and later died at the hospital. More Americans filing for unemployment benefits last week, claims though still at low levels, pointing to greater job security. Ahead of the opening bell, Dow futures are higher. Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
Cloudy skies, 36 degrees. Winds are out of the west at 13 miles an hour. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott on AM 560. The Answer. Officials say an arrest warrant for first-degree murder has been issued in the deadly shooting of a security guard in Harvey. Authorities have not revealed the identity of that man yet who gunned down Tyrone Harden Saturday while on duty at the Canadian National Railway Yard. It appears Donald Trump will not be coming to Chicago after all. Tribune says police department officials have been preparing for the president-elect to arrive today. However, a police spokesman says they've been in contact with Secret Service, and right now the department is not preparing for a visit. Former Northwest Suburban High School choir director is accused of having sex with former students. Police say Justin Hubley is facing allegations of providing alcohol to ex-Crystal Lake Central students while engaging in sexual activity with them at his home. Hubley had served as Central's choir director since 2004 and was a teachers' union leader before resigning earlier this month. An Illinois House committee has endorsed a late-hour compromise on an energy plan designed to keep 2 nuclear plants open. The Energy Committee approved a deal worth hundreds of millions of dollars to Exelon on a 9-1 vote. It provides about $235 million a year to Exelon for the carbon-free nuclear power it generates, similar to subsidies for wind and solar energy power. Lakers turn back the Bulls 96-90. Blackhawks battle the Devils tonight. The news service of that 89-cent pancake deal at Burger King. Want to sweeten up your commute? Get to Burger King breakfast for the 3 for 89-cent pancake deal today. It's an unheard-of breakfast deal. Hot, fluffy, golden pancakes served with a side of syrup for a limited time. Participation varies. It's 8:04. Time for the AM 560 Business Beat from the Fox Business Network and a service of Turnkey.pro. Here's Hillary Barsky.
From the Fox Business Network, European stock markets falling slightly in early trading today after Asian stock markets finished higher. Among the reports being released today, investors will be looking closely at the government's weekly jobless claims report, the Commerce Department revealing construction spending for October, and automakers releasing vehicle sales for November. It could take us an entire year's salary to pay for gifts listed in the 12 days of Christmas. For the last 33 years, PNC Financial Services Group has been tracking the cost of the gifts mentioned in the song in a tongue-in-cheek way to keep an eye on inflation. The cost of 2 turtle doves jumping from $290 to $375 this year, but 9 of the other 12 gifts stayed the same price or became cheaper. 11 pipers piping and 12 drummers drumming were also slightly more expensive this year. Total cost over $34,300. With the Fox Business Report, I'm Hillary Barsky.
It is 8:05 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
You need to understand that the way you build wealth is you do not use the evening news or CNN or Fox to set the tone of your emotions around your investing.
The Dave Ramsey Show.
If you're thinking of changing your investing patterns because you're watching the news, you need to turn off the news. You are in charge of your destiny.
Dave Ramsey. Weeknights starting at 7. Presented by Wintrust Community Bank on AM 560. The Answer.
I'm Nick Soboleski, a Select Quote agent with a true story that could save you hundreds of dollars a year. A woman named Linda just called. Her husband, Ray, has a $300,000 group life insurance policy, but is changing jobs and can't take it with him. Well, I impartially shopped the highly rated term life insurance companies we represent and found Ray, who is 41 and takes medication to control his cholesterol, a 10-year, $500,000 policy for under $26 a month. That's almost twice the coverage for less than half of what he had paid. If SelectQuote hasn't shopped for your life insurance, you're probably paying too much.
For your free quote, call 1-800-467-5125. That's 1-800-467-5125. 1-800-467-5125. Or go to SelectQuote.com. We shop. You save. Get full details on the example policy at SelectQuote.com/commercials. Your price can vary depending on your health, issuing company, and other factors not available in all states.
8:06. Let's check the roads in the AM 560 Traffic Center with Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. The eastbound Reagan Tollway remains jammed. 31 to 59, where there's a crash at the left lane, and it's heavy 355 to Findlay. Tri-State has delays southbound Washington to 137, northbound 95th to 31st, and from the Reagan Tollway to near 190. Eastbound Adams Tollway heavy 25 to Beverly and Bussey to the Des Plaines Oasis. Delays on the northbound Veterans Memorial from I-55 most of the way to St. Charles, and from the Army Trail toll to 290. The Adams runs 23 minutes, Lake Hook to Montrose, outbound 30. Kennedy 51 minutes, O'Hare to downtown, a little quicker in the express, outbound 43. The Eisenhower, an hour and 9 minutes. Thorndale to the post office, outbound 52 minutes. Stevenson, it is an hour, 3:55. Make that an hour 15 now, 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 46 minutes. Ryan, 35 minutes, 95th to downtown. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte, AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. From the aircomfort.com Weather Center, let's get the forecast with Ashley Benoit.
Mostly cloudy and breezy today with a shower in places, high 43. Mostly cloudy tonight as well, low 32. Breezy tomorrow, times of clouds and sunshine throughout the day, high 40. And cloudy and cold Saturday, high 38. I'm Ashley Benoit on AM 560, The Answer.
37 at O'Hare. Next news, 8:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is powered by CharlesEquipment.com, keeping the lights on through winter's dark storms.
Good morning. Welcome to your Thursday morning briefing. Here's what you need to know to start your day.
Ricketts' business background, fundraising efforts, and devotion to conservative economic policies is why Trump tapped Todd Ricketts.
If I were in office right now, Carrier would not be leaving Indiana. That I can tell you. That I can tell you.
Some people are saying this is a Christmas miracle here. We're getting to keep our jobs, and I'll be happy. I mean, the kids will be having a good Christmas, and we won't have that worry of Daddy won't have his job.
The other thing you better get used to is, and you're going to see it this week when the President-elect and I hit the road, is a President Donald Trump is not just going to be talking to Congress. He's going to be talking to the American people.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. So Trump's Goodwill Tour starts today in Indianapolis and Cincinnati, and there's discrepancies about whether Chicago is on the tour. It seems like it's not.
Yeah, I mean, there was talk yesterday among, a lot of our law enforcement friends that their days off, their furlough days, vacation days were canceled because Donald Trump was supposed to make Chicago his home base starting today and ending on Saturday. But now it turns out that he is not coming to the Trump Tower. However, there is still a protest tonight at 5:30 outside the Trump Tower, and I'm sure you'll be there, right, Dan?
I'm fishing my Che Guevara T-shirt out of the laundry when I get back home, and I'll fire up the Prius, go to the Starbucks on Clinton and Washington, pick up my crew of bedwetters. I put plastic over the seats for the kids.
Right.
Yeah,
just in case.
The seats don't get ruined.
But, I mean, it's a victory lap for Donald Trump, and he's going to receive probably a hero's welcome when he first goes to Indianapolis with former Governor Mike Pence to celebrate that Carrier is keeping the jobs here in the United States, in Indiana. But the problem is 1,400 jobs, 1,000 are going to be kept. So 400 people most likely will be losing their job, and a lot of people that are part of the unions are wondering if they're going to have to take pay cuts in order to keep Carrier in the United States. Do you have a problem with that if they have to take pay cuts? I mean, we've all taken pay cuts at some point in time in our life.
Right.
But you get to keep your job.
Uh-huh.
Here's one person, worker Robert James, who's concerned.
We need to know what's behind it. We need to know if there are anything that's going to be asked of the union.
Yeah, so it's a union. They think it'll be a union shakedown. But others are happy. Here's
a union shakedown. Is that what it is? It also, too, let's understand something. There may have been a Trump and Pence intervention of some sorts, but what's keeping Carrier in Indiana is, and I don't know the details of it, but is the state providing an incentive package for Carrier to stay. So it's the state of Indiana making a decision. It's not the federal government, of which Trump is not in charge at this juncture. So it's good news, but I think this is a Pence-driven matter with cooperation from the Republican-controlled Indiana state legislature, as well as the governor-elect of Indiana, Eric Holcomb.
Well, Carrier's parent company apparently has a $5 billion worth of defense contracts with the Pentagon. So that might be another reason why they're sticking around the United States. But the plant was already built in Monterrey, Mexico. And I don't know if you want to go online, you can see pictures of it. So I don't know, if not now, the workers want to know, when will we be losing our jobs? How long is this going to last? And they're concerned about that. But don't you think there's more than state incentives that were at play here?
Well, what were
promising him later? Well, I don't know. The devil's in the details, and nobody knows the details. And the workers want to know the details. Why now all of a sudden their jobs are staying, that they can keep their jobs,
maybe
and they're not going south of the border?
Well, what we know to be true is the state of Indiana is offering an incentive package. Perhaps there's a belief by executives that the business climate in terms of their federal obligations is going to change under the incoming administration. I don't know the details. So I suppose we'll see what happens. I don't necessarily agree with kind of the state industrial policy at the federal level or the state level, this game that states play where they pick winners and losers, too. We have the Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity here, which is a pass-through for corporate welfare. Don't like that. I mean, Ronner's changed it a little bit to more kind of a public-private partnership angled agency. I think the agency should be eliminated altogether. It's because it's the same thing as the Export-Import Bank. It's the big players with the phalanxes of lobbyists that tend to derive the most benefit, and small business entrepreneurial capitalists who don't have the same political juice are treated differently, and I don't like it. So I think it's bad public policy is why I don't like it. And, it's interesting, too, because we're talking about the state level and what states are going to do. Again, there were 31 Republican governors before Trump. There are 33 now, before Trump's election. The GOP controlled 2/3 of the state legislatures in the country before Trump's election. Now that's been solidified and enhanced lately, as the Wall Street Journal observes. GOP controls the state houses and legislatures in 30 states in 2017, when everybody who won election is seated. 30 states, 2/3 of the states. So again, point of order, Chicago, we are the super minority in this country. Super minority. And the Wall Street Journal goes on to suggest that those GOP-controlled state legislatures would do wise to follow the example set by our neighbor to the north and its governor, Wisconsin, and Governor Scott Walker in terms of reforming public union laws that have transformed the state of Wisconsin's politics and, by extension, their economy and attractiveness to business. Governor Walker's reforms, and back in 2011, shortly after taking office, known as Act 10, removed the ability of public unions to collectively bargain, just public unions, public sector unions, to collectively bargain for benefits, and require that unions be recertified every year by a majority of all members. The law ended the government's role as the union's automatic dues collector. And in 2015, 4 years later, Wisconsin became a right-to-work state. The result, an analysis by the Journal Sentinel in Milwaukee, found that since 2011, the state has seen the largest decline in the country in the concentration of union members in the workforce. By 2015, union members made up 8.3% of the workers in Wisconsin, which was down from 14.2% before Walker took office. 187,000 fewer union members than in 2005. The Milwaukee Teachers Education Association, the teachers union in Milwaukee, has lost 30% of its members because the members were given choice.
Right,
whether
they're opting out.
Yeah, they're opting out. So, boy, what would happen in Illinois if the public sector unions were subjected to the same market test by the
do you think we'll ever see
members,
the day
of their members?
Do you think that'll ever happen in Illinois?
Well, I mean, if it can happen in Michigan and every other Rust Belt state, just about 27 states are now a right to work, then it can happen here. I'm not saying that this is where Rauner should plant his flag, but I will tell you where I think Rauner should plant his flag.
All right, where?
He right now has a state labor relations board declared impasse with AFSCME, the largest public sector union for state workers, which means Rauner could impose his last best final offer to AFSCME, which includes a wage freeze, similar to the wage freeze that 18 other unions that represent smaller groups of state workers have taken in negotiation with the governor, an accomplishment that has been underreported, mostly by the governor. Hello, not supposed to be a secret. And he should put it to him. Take it or walk. Rauner needs a moment where battle lines are drawn. He has not had that moment. The idea of the battle lines being solely drawn between him and Mike Madigan, not enough. Not enough. Not compelling. Both he and Madigan have suffered mightily in terms of public approval. But the difference is Madigan is not going to be defeated in his little Southwest Side district. No. Rauner's up for re-election in 2 years. And if the next 2 years are like the first two, which I suspect they're going to be with respect to the budget, stopgap budgets, no structural reforms because the Democrats in control of our state legislature are not interested in structural reform, property tax freeze, political reform like term limits, workers' comp reform, pension reform. They're not interested. And thanks to Chicago and the suburbs, they don't have to be interested because Chicago and the suburbs told the state on November 8th that they're not interested in property tax freezes. They're not interested in public sector union reform. They're not interested in workers' comp reform to attract and maintain manufacturers and other businesses here. They're not interested in term limits. They're not interested in redistricting reform. You told everyone that, you people in the suburbs, I'm talking about suburban Cook and the Collars, in addition to the city, by the choices you made for state legislators, particularly the suburbs where there were competitive races. By returning all of those Democrat roll call votes in suburban Cook and the Collar counties, you said to the state, we are not interested in anything other than the continuing decline in the quality of life in Illinois at exorbitant prices. I mean, that's what you said. So how does Rauner go into the 2018 election where he's surrounded by states that have conservative reform governors and, frankly, U.S. senators, but in particular governors with Republican legislators, so they're able to move some of the things Rauner would move if he had a Republican-controlled legislature, but he doesn't. How does he go into the 2018 cycle? What is the case that he makes right now? And if you believe what I say, I think will come to pass, that there is no budget deal. It's just going to be stopgap budgets, which means Illinois will continue to decline. To me, the choice, if you're not going to get something done because of the intransigence of the Chicago Democrat power structure, then you have to be clear about what you would do. And property tax freeze is a phrase. There needs to be an initiative to rethink how we do property taxes, how we fund K through 12 education in this state, and it needs to be filled in with specifics. And then that needs to be broadcast relentlessly for 2 years. And since we all exist to finance the public sector unions, and this is a failure of their leadership, this is different than talking about the rank and file in AFSCME or SEIU. I don't really have particular issues with state workers just because you're state workers or municipal workers. I've been both. There's no animus there.
Right.
But the leadership of those unions thinks they are forever deserving of a blank check. And if Rauner doesn't present the reality in stark terms, doesn't crystallize a choice for this electorate now, and do so for 2 years, the way that Scott Walker did it right away in 2011, so people could see the impact by the time he was up for re-election in 2014. If Rauner doesn't do it now, then he's not going to do it, and he's going to lose in 2018. I'll tell you that right now. So that's a question for the governor and his administration, and it's a question, frankly, for Republicans and other reform-minded people who want to see the fight put in, the way that Donald Trump put the fight in and never relented. We haven't had that moment yet. Now, Rauner's only been governor for 2 years, but now you've got your midterm election, so you know what you're dealing with for the final 2 years of your first term. What are you going to do about it? Because +4 in the House and +2 in the Senate, it's modest progress. It's not enough to do anything that he wants to do, and he knows it. So what are you going to do in the absence? You should do the things you have the power to do. And one of the things you still have the power to do is negotiate collective bargaining agreements with public sector unions. You've done it successfully 18 times. Good contracts for the taxpayers, representing the taxpayers. Do it with AFSCME.
The 19th time.
And this is going to be the most difficult.
But he keeps kicking the can down the road. I mean, you have a line to him. Can you suggest to him?
I suggested it, and I think that he has people around him that are not game for the fight, that are looking to avoid one battle so they can avoid the next battle, which is what the Republican Party's been doing in this state for 25 years and why we're in the minority, really super minority. I know we're not in the super minority in the House anymore, but we're still effectively the super minority party. We just lost a statewide official. We lost a congressman, picked up a few seats that should have never been Democrats in the first place. And I say that as somebody who was materially, substantially involved in legislative races, didn't move the needle as far as we could have or should have. So I'll take my share of ownership for that too, my share of the blame. Did not do it, but I'm not going to lie about it. I'm not going to celebrate this as something transformative that happened on November 8th in this state when it didn't. We are looking for that transformative moment, and we need it if we're going to follow the leadership of all of the Great Lakes states around us. And if we don't get it, we're not. Owen in Willowbrook, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hi, Dan. Hi, Amy. Hey, besides the jobs that he's saving a Carrier, the other point that people should realize is, and I call on manufacturing businesses in this state, that's just been brutal the last 15 years. But he's not only saved those jobs, but he saved jobs of their suppliers, of service companies around there, of hotels. So it's got a domino effect. And I think if he keeps doing this, even if he's given $700,000 in credits, it's going to come back tenfold, I believe.
Thanks for the call, Owen. Sean in Elmwood Park.
It's fish food for morons. What about Lennox? What about Tram? What about American Standard and Air King and all the other manufacturers who are Carrier's competition, among the most expensive of all the manufacturers? What about those guys? Do they get breaks, or do they just watch Carrier get more of an angle, more of a leverage on competition? This is fish food for morons for one-dimensional thought. The competition, government's job is to be equal to all manufacturers and fair to all. One doesn't get a break anywhere that not every one of them gets. And as for the other thing, Prof, don't get too bent out of shape about Rauner. Maybe they worked it out on the plane on the way to the Vatican for the Marxist meeting, where we got our new cardinal named after a stripper, as they're all chummy, arm in arm. It's all a scam. They're carving up the money. They're picking winners and losers. The whole system is slanted, and one bell-bottomed old man isn't going to fix it as he puts his ink on his initials on every one he picks. It's outrageous.
The stories you need to know to start your day. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Licensed in all states. Product availability varies. Agents may be compensated on enrollment.
The new enrollment period for Medicare just started a few days ago, and a lot of our listeners aren't sure they've got the right plan or feel that they're paying too much. That's why we have a special guest here today to explain it all. Mike Stahl from Health Markets, a national organization that helps folks find Medicare coverage. Welcome, Mike. How you doing?
I'm great, Larry. Thanks. For your listeners, Health Markets offers a free service with access to thousands of Medicare plans nationwide to help folks maximize their benefits and save money. With the Medicare enrollment deadline only weeks away, it's important to act now.
Senior VP of Health Markets. Mike, thank you so much. Now, obviously, when it comes to Medicare, it's really important that folks have the right plan for them. Tell our listeners how they can receive free help from Health Markets.
With so many Medicare options, it can be confusing. Don't go it alone. Get free, unbiased help for a plan that may cost less, cover more, and give you more choices. For free Medicare assistance, go to healthmarkets.com or call 800-769-5680. That's 800-769-5680. 800-769-5680.
Change in the market shouldn't be a surprise to anyone. In fact, since World War II, we've seen a correction on average about once every 18 months. That's why Arlington Capital Management developed proprietary tools that help them to see what's beyond your investment horizon. Like an experienced ship captain uses tools to avoid stormy weather, Arlington Capital Management uses tools to guide you through market corrections before it's too late and help us decide when to capitalize on opportunity. Call Arlington Capital Management today at 855-471-5796 to learn how their active management systems can help you. Each day, they actively explore the market, our economy, and all the variables that affect your investments. Stormy markets never cloud their vision. The professionals at Arlington Capital Management use their tools and experience to guide them. Call Arlington Capital Management today at 855-471-5796 for a financial review. The number again is 855-471-5796 or learn more at arlington-capital.com.
AM 560. The Answer.
So you've heard us talk about our Food for the Poor campaign, and we really want to thank everyone who's already stepped up to join us in our effort to provide food for a year and water for life for 1,500 children and families in Haiti and Guatemala. We want to focus this time on our Business Benefactor program, which is a great deal in Chicagoland radio.
And we want to thank those companies that have already joined the Business Benefactor program, including C.H. Hansen and Gatto Industrial Platers. The program is this: $2,500 tax-deductible donation to Food for the Poor. And on behalf of your business, you'll be providing food for a year and water for life for 50 children in Haiti and Guatemala, on our way to our goal of 1,500. Hopefully we can exceed it. And because of your generosity, we at AM 560 want to give you something in return as well. You make that donation, we'll give you 40 60-second commercials that will air right here on our airwaves between the prime hours of 5 a.m. and 8 p.m. Monday to Friday. It's the best advertising deal going in Chicago radio.
Yeah, we're not going to shove you onto the weekends. It's prime spots here Monday through Friday. And there's a lot of businesses that wanted to test drive AM 560 before making a long-term commitment. And usually that's not possible. But for this campaign, you do get 40 commercials for your donation of just $2,500. The money goes to Food for the Poor. And you'll see what a great audience we have here at the station. I mean, don't miss out on your chance to advertise on this station at an incredible discount when you become a business benefactor. Now, to find out more about how you can become a business benefactor, you need to call our excellent director of sales, the one and only Michael Mann. Yeah, his direct number is 847-871-1527. That's 847-871-1527. He can answer any of your questions that you have about becoming a business benefactor this year. And again, if you want to make a one-time donation as a listener of $50, that would definitely change the life of a child this Christmas season, please call 855-880-3663 or simply on your cell phone, dial pound 250 on your cell phone and you'll be prompted, and just say the word food. It's really easy. It just takes such a few minutes to make such a big difference in people's lives. And we want to thank you in advance for your generosity.
You've made the switch, and it feels so good. You've switched to Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
This is Bob.
Hi, I'm Bob.
His company put their trust in Air Comfort to keep their business running cool all summer. Bob knows the value of proper chiller maintenance that includes end-of-season service, so he'll be ready for next summer.
I'm ready.
Dave, on the other hand, thought he could put off servicing his chiller at the end of last season and had 3 complete shutdowns this summer. Needless to say, his staff and customers were not happy. Moral of the story? Preventative maintenance will save you time, money, and trouble. As the hot weather ends, you need maintenance on your chiller before the start of next season. Air Comfort has one of the largest commercial and industrial service groups in the Chicago area, with a dedicated factory-trained chiller department that takes a scientific approach to analyzing your system and determining any needed maintenance. They know how to work on large equipment, perform an analysis of your chiller, and get you ready for next season. Call 708-345-1900 or visit aircomfort.com. Air Comfort, providing the right climate for business since 1935.
When are we having our bowling match? Bowling match / party. We should invite participants, spectators.
Oh, yeah. Mike on the north side would go. A lot of people would go. Ron and Berwyn.
And where we're going to have it is 10 Pin Bowling Lounge downtown by House of Blues. Gather your friends, your family, and coworkers to team up for a holiday party that will be remembered for years to come. Make 10 Pin Bowling Lounge your destination for your office party or get-together. 10 Pin isn't just bowling. It's a cool, comfortable, upscale lounge with great music, delicious food, and tempting drink list. You have to see their 128-foot video wall featuring your favorite sports teams or your own presentation. And you'll be on your game on one of the 24 state-of-the-art bowling lanes. If the pins don't go down as easy as the martinis, burgers, and conversation, don't worry. It's only part of the fun. Let their expert team of party planners customize your event, big or small, because there's room for everyone. So enjoy your next happy hour, corporate outing, or party at 10 Pin Bowling Lounge downtown on State Street, right next to the aforesaid House of Blues. Come for the bowling or just come for everything else. Get started today at 10pinchicago.com. That's 10pinchicago.com.
And coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer, there's a protest you might want to be a part of on Saturday to stand up against quarterback Colin Kaepernick. We'll explain. But first, into the newsroom we go. Here's Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, good morning. Good morning, everyone. Cloudy skies, and we will have rain and snow showers possible throughout the day, on and off. Officials say an arrest warrant for first-degree murder has been issued in a deadly shooting of a security guard in South Suburban Harvey. Authorities are not revealing yet the identity of the man believed to have gunned down Tyrone Harden. President-elect Donald Trump sets out on his victory tour today. Trump and VP-elect Mike Pence will first visit a Carrier air conditioning plant to officially announce a deal to keep jobs at that Indiana facility. This evening, Trump will rally in Cincinnati. In Tacoma, Washington, a police officer is dead after being shot while responding to a domestic violence call. Police spokeswoman Loretta Kuhl fought back tears as she confirmed that death.
We've suffered a great loss. I think the community has suffered a great loss. I don't know how to put that into words.
Meantime, the gunman believed to be barricaded in the home overnight has been found shot to death. The death toll rising due to the fires in Tennessee's Great Smoky Mountains. Sevier County Mayor Larry Waters says search crews found 3 more bodies, bringing the death toll to 7. Police in Charlotte, North Carolina arrested several as protesters filled the streets last night after prosecutors decided not to charge a police officer who killed a black man in September. A former Northwest Suburban High School choir director is accused of having sex with former students. Police say Justin Hubley is facing allegations of providing alcohol to ex-Crystal Lake Central students and engaging in sexual activities at his home. Hubley had served as Central's choir director since 2004. And a DuPage County judge has sentenced a former Aurora man to 48 years in prison in the 2014 killing of his ex-girlfriend. DuPage County prosecutors say the judge sentenced 38-year-old Jose Loera on Wednesday after previously entering a plea of guilty to 1 count of first-degree murder. Lakers turned back the Bulls last night, 96-90. College hoops, DePaul, Illinois State, winners along with Loyola, while Indiana State beat Northern Illinois. The news service of Staples. Staples has low prices on technology for your business. And right now, buy any PC at Staples and get free tech support for 30 days. They'll help you set up your new PC so you don't lose critical files, help you connect to your network and your printers. Staples, make more happen. 8:34 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Mike Gallagher doesn't believe Mitt Romney will be a part of the Trump administration.
I'm going to believe that Donald Trump just wanted to embarrass Mitt Romney. He has no intention of making Mitt Romney the Secretary of State. He has no intention of giving Mitt Romney a position in a Trump administration. You cannot have a backstabbing traitor like Mitt Romney anywhere within a million miles of the White House.
The Mike Gallagher Show, weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Papa Nicholas Coffee. Papa Nicholas Coffee, roasted fresh daily in Batavia, Illinois.
Christmas is synonymous with kids. But this year, thousands of children of incarcerated moms or dads won't have a reason to celebrate. That's why we need your help. Thanks to Prison Fellowship and its Angel Tree program, Christmas gifts and the gospel will be delivered to approximately 300,000 children of moms and dads who are in prison. This year, we still have about 29,000 children not assigned to a local church for Christmas. That's why we need your help to close the gap. Would you consider donating to Angel Tree by going to prisonfellowship.org/angel? That's prisonfellowship.org/angel. Your tax-deductible gift will give these children a merrier Christmas and a brighter New Year. Thank you for standing with us to help each child, and have a blessed Christmas season.
It's 8:36. Let's get an update on the roads. In our AM 560 traffic center, here is Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. The inbound Kennedy is now very heavy between Foster and the Hubbard Tunnel. It is an hour and 4 minutes O'Hare to downtown, 44 minutes from Montrose, 32 in the Express, outbound 18 minutes to Montrose and 40 to the airport. Edens, 21 minutes, Lycook Junction, outbound 30. The Eisenhower, an hour and 8 minutes, Thorndale to the post office, 47 minutes from Manheim, outbound 50 to Thorndale. Stevenson, an hour and 14 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, 47 minutes from the Tri-State, outbound 40 to 355. Ryan, 40 minutes, 95 to downtown. Bishop Ford still heavy at 30 minutes, 80-94 to the Verge. Tri-State, Laser northbound, the mile-long bridge to 31st, Roosevelt to the Grand Avenue curve. But Adams Tollway heavy from Bussey to the Des Plaines Oasis. Reagan Tollway 31 to Eola and York to the Eisenhower. Veterans Memorial from Boughton to the Reagan Tollway and Army Trail to 290. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte, AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center, providing the right climate for business since 1935. Cloudy, breezy, a shower in spots, maybe a snow shower, high 43. Cloudy and 32 overnight, 37 at O'Hare. Next news at 9. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Real Estate Airwaves. Check out the show that's all about making money in real estate every Sunday at noon on AM 560, The Answer.
Listen to podcasts of Joe Walsh and Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on the AM 560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Dan and Amy, well, I'll tell you, a tough couple of road games for spoiler brat Colin Kaepernick. He's the Castro Che Guevara lover, was in Miami last weekend.
Ooh, yeah.
Tough time to be in Miami with Castro's death, especially given his views.
That's called karma. When I saw that, I'm like, that is perfect timing. That is God's work.
And he's going to be in Soldier Field this weekend.
Oh, yeah.
To compete with the hapless Bears, the hapless 49ers versus the hapless Bears.
But I'm actually going to go to the game because I want to boo Colin Kaepernick.
And
I can't wait to have my freedom of expression.
And burn his jersey in effigy.
I'm not going to be doing that. I just want to boo him. And I just want to, because I know we're going to take it to him. We're going to stick it to him.
Well, here, just to give you...
It's such a Chicagoan. Excuse me.
Give you an example of the deep thought kicking around between Kaepernick's ears. Here's an exchange between Kaepernick and a Miami Herald op-ed writer about Castro. And listen to the comparison that the punky QB known as Kaepernick makes.
He broke up families. He took over a country again without any, justice and without any elections. We do break up families here. That's what mass incarceration is. That was the foundation of slavery, so our country has been based on that, as well as the genocide of Native Americans.
Are you equating the breaking up of Cuban families with people going to jail in the United States of America?
I'm equating the breaking up of families with breaking up of families.
So Castro broke up families by murdering people and forcing people to try and flee. 20% of the country did flee the country, breaking up families that way because he was a totalitarian despot. And we send criminals to prison in this country, and it's the same thing, according to Colin Kaepernick.
Breaking up families. Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's
what you're dealing with. And in addition to his disrespecting the flag and disrespecting America, and he disrespects military men and women. And so on Saturday, the day before the game on Sunday, at 11 a.m., there's going to be a little bit of a rally, Gold Star Park on Saturday, 11 a.m., urging Kaepernick to stand for the national anthem when the Chicago Bears play the 49ers on Sunday. That is being organized by retired Chicago Alderman James Belser, who is a Vietnam veteran. As a Marine, he was awarded 3 Purple Hearts and a Bronze Star for his honorable service in Vietnam for our country. Among those expected to address the rally include a Gold Star family, Chicago police officer, Chicago Police Memorial Foundation executive director, former police superintendents, firefighter union reps, our friend Dean Angelo over at Chicago FOP. Rally 11 a.m., Gold Star Park, Saturday, with respect to Mr. Kaepernick and those he represents. And for more on this, we're pleased to be joined by the aforesaid former Chicago alderman and Vietnam veteran, James Belser. James, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Glad to be here. Glad to talk about this. And first, my condolences. I heard on your announcement that a policeman in Tacoma was killed. My condolences to that policeman's family and all the police, fire, paramedics, and those in the military who have died defending our nation and defending the flag and defending our country. Now, as far as Mr. Kaepernick being at Soldier Field, I'd like to remind all your listeners that Soldier Field is named after those who were killed in the military. That goes back to 1925. The Gold Star Mothers of World War I wanted it named, that renamed to Soldier Field, and that's what it is now. I have played a big role when Mayor Daley when we redid Soldier Field. There are numerous memorials inside the stadium honoring those who died in the defense of our nation. And then you have Gold Star Park across, naming all the 575 police officers who died in the line of duty. Now, if Mr. Kaepernick wants to protest, do it in another way. Stay in the locker room. Don't come out. Don't disrespect these families. Of all places, Soldier Field, to do this, it's sad and it's tragic. Here's a man that signed a contract for $119 million. He earns $19 million a year. Come on.
Well, besides that, I mean,
how bad it is. This is a good country, and I would tell him this: this is the only country that people want to get into. They don't fight to leave this country. They fight to get into it. You look at the battle for immigration now, no matter what side you're on, people want to get into this country. And if he doesn't like it, he should leave.
So are you hoping that he sees your protest on Saturday and then makes the right decision and stands up for the national anthem on Sunday?
I would hope he does. I would hope that inside he thinks about the anguish and the hurt he's causing these Gold Star family members. And of all places, Soldier Field. And I'd like to remind your listeners, if you go down the lakefront, you have Olive Park, named in honor of Milton Olive, who was killed in Vietnam. He jumped on a grenade. African-American, awarded the Medal of Honor. You have Navy Pier, named in honor of those from the Navy. You have Rainbow Beach, named in honor of those who fought in World War I, the Rainbow Division. You have the Vietnam Veterans Memorial at State and Wacker, naming all those who were killed in Vietnam from our state. I just don't understand it. I mean, there's people, you have a right to speak up in this country. And people that say the flag is just a piece of cloth, I'd like to remind them that flag has draped the coffins of numerous people who have died for this country, whether in the military, whether first responders. My father-in-law, who served in World War II with Bob Dolan, was seriously wounded. He just died. It draped his coffin. My grandfather, who served in World War I and World War II, when he died, it draped his coffin. My dear mother, who served in World War II in the Army, it draped her coffin. No, the American flag and the national anthem are not just things. But the flag means so much to me, and I've been involved with this for a number of years. I've been the chairman of the Memorial Day Parade in Chicago for a number of years, and I will tell you, I've dealt with the Gold Star family members that have lost loved ones in the military for numerous years, and I've gotten hundreds of them I've gotten to know. This is something that he should think about and not do what he does. Do not do it here in Chicago.
We're talking to Jim Balser. He's a former alderman and a decorated Vietnam veteran who's organizing this rally on Saturday, this coming Saturday, 11 a.m. It's going to be held in front of the Police Memorial in Gold Star Family Park, which is adjacent to the east side of Soldier Field. If you want to attend and show your support, join them in calling for Colin Kaepernick to do something he's not want to do, which is be respectful while he visits Soldier Field on Sunday to play the Bears. And so, Jim, I like when people show me who they are, and then we can kind of hash it all out as opposed to pretending to be something you're not. So the idea of Colin Kaepernick showing me that he's an infant who has very little understanding or respect from this country, I kind of like, because it provides a clarifying moment to say, well, do you think like Colin Kaepernick, American people, or do you think differently, and maybe pull some people's heads out of the cloud? But by the same token, I like your rally because of everything that you just delineated. It's an opportunity for a history lesson. It's an opportunity, and it's an opportunity to explain.
That's what I'm saying to people. Look at this country. People have a right to say it's bad, but look at all the good we've done in this country. Liberated half the globe. Whenever there's trouble, famines or floods in other countries, it's our country that leads the way. That's what people forget. Yes, granted, they have a right to say that things aren't right. It's your right, but it's my right to say you're wrong. Look at the facts. Just go by the facts. And this is a great, good country with good people who have sacrificed an awful lot vis-a-vis being the military, the police, the fire, and the paramedics.
So, James, how many people, Gold Star family members, current Chicago police officers, firefighters, do you think are going to be attending Saturday's rally?
It's just hard to say. You know, we've gotten out the word. I've worked with Phil Klein and Dean Angelo and Tom Ryan from the fire department, and my friends in the military. My dear friend Jim Frazier, who lost his son in Afghanistan, will be there. Him and I have worked the Memorial Day Parade for a number of years, and we'd like people to be there, listen to what we have to say, and urge Mr. Kaepernick, if you don't want to stand, don't come out of the locker room. Don't disrespect these families. Don't disrespect the American flag. I mean, it is so wrong and it's so inappropriate at Soldier Field of all places.
Has the Bears organization, have you communicated with them? Have they said anything about this?
Not at all. As a matter of fact, I'm glad you brought that up. I played a hand in helping to put in the memorial at Soldier Field, and I led the crowd there in the Pledge of Allegiance on, I think it was Veterans Day when they had one of their first games. I mean, and here's another thing about the Bears. George Halas, George Halas, owner of the Bears, for those who don't know, served in the Navy in World War II, re-enlisted in the Navy again. Served in World War I, then re-enlisted in World War II. Gave up his career to serve the Navy. I mean, it couldn't. It just can't be more inappropriate to do what he does at Soldier Field.
So here's the problem. The Bears' defense is not good enough to impose the requisite punishment on Colin Kaepernick that is deserved, within the confines of the rules of the game, of course. Yes. So is there any thought to maybe seeing if we can shoot up some of the 85 Bears that are still around, put McMichael and Hampton back there, and add to the defensive line for the game on Sunday?
I would hope that the Bears, I want the Bears to win, no matter what. I want the Bears to win. I don't wish Mr. Kaepernick bad luck, but in this case, go Bears, do what you got to do, win that game.
Some dirty hits.
Win it for America.
No. Confines
of the United States of America.
That's right. All right, very good.
Maybe I should go to that instead of wasting my time going to the game on Sunday. I should go to the rally on Saturday.
I'd like to just close out by saying, as I always say, this is a great country. I am proud to be an American. And I always end by saying, God bless America, and the Marine Corps motto, Semper Fi, Semper Fidelis, always faithful. Thank you.
All right. He's Jim Balser. He's a decorated Marine, served our country in Vietnam, 3 Purple Hearts and a Bronze Star, organizing this rally Saturday, December 3rd, this Saturday, 11 a.m., Gold Star Park, in front of the Police Memorial in Gold Star Family Park, which is adjacent to the east side of Soldier Field if you want to show up. And you're going to have Jim Frazier, who's the father of Staff Sergeant Jacob Frazier, killed in Afghanistan in 2003. So Gold Star families represented, Chicago Police, Chicago Fire. Jim Balser, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate your time.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
Connect with Dan and Amy using the AM 560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Maybe he can get Lawrence tailored. Break a leg.
Wow. Hang him high.
broke-
Jacobson over
he
there.
broke Theismann's leg. Remember that?
Yeah, I do remember that.
I did. Yeah.
Thank you, Chris Farley.
Okay, you're welcome. Today for December 1st, yes, it's already the first day of December, folks. You're going to have mostly cloudy skies, light rain on and off throughout the day. Kind of a gray day, a high of 43. And tomorrow, breezy. We'll have sunshine and some clouds, but cooler conditions, a high, if we're lucky, of 40 degrees. Any luck on the roadways? Here's Jim Delamonte. Tell me more.
Well, Amy, you better bear down if you're taking that inbound Kennedy. It's heavy. Nagel to the Burns Circle. Just under an hour from O'Hare to downtown. 37 minutes from Montrose. 38 in the Express. The Ohio feeder's packed. Outbound 38 minutes to the airport. Eden's 21 minutes. Lake Cook to the junction. Outbound 30. The Eisenhower's an hour and 8 minutes. Thorndale to the post office. 47 minutes from Manheim. Outbound 50 to Thorndale. Stevenson an hour 14. 355 to Lakeshore Drive. 47 minutes from the Tri-State. Outbound 40 minutes to 355. The Ryan is 40 minutes. 95th to downtown. Northbound Tri-State still heavy from the Stevenson to 31st. Roosevelt much of the way to Irving Park. Adams Tollway a little sluggish approaching the Des Plaines Oasis. Veterans Memorial, slow 63rd to the Reagan Tollway and Army Trail to 290. I'm Jim Talamonte in the AM 560 Traffic Center.
My daughter started school, and I find myself worrying if she is getting home safe while I'm still at work. I wish I could check up on her.
Alarm Detection Systems offers remote control of your security system from your phone. Get text or video alerts when someone's at your door. ADS is an authorized Honeywell equipment dealer. Visit adsalarm.com or call 630-844-6300. Alarm license number 127000143.
Our neighbor had thousands of dollars in flood damage and lost several items that are irreplaceable. Is there a security solution to receive early warning of an event like this?
Of course. Alarm Detection Systems has flood detection systems alerting you when water gathers in your home, giving you time to react. ADS is an authorized Honeywell equipment dealer. Visit adsalarm.com or call 630-844-6300. Alarm license number 127000143.
Can a student be opted out of an offensive assignment in public school? This is Law and Justice with Jay Sekulow.
As a parent of a child that goes to a public school, what are my rights against this HIV training?
Was it some kind of a seminar that the school had that they gave or an assembly that they did?
They just pulled the kids out.
Yeah.
They had the kids in the auditorium. My son is 11.
11 years old and they had an HIV awareness program? Yeah, we've had this situation before. And number one, let me tell you the first thing that should have happened. The first thing they should have done was told you this event's going to take place in the school, and if you didn't want your child to go to it, there'll be an alternative assignment available for the child or supervised structure in some other classroom. That's number one. Number two, now that it's taken place, you need to file a complaint with the school regarding this. It obviously was appeared to be graphic. We've had this a number of times. And let me get you on the phone here. You hang on the line. We're going to get you in touch with some of our lawyers at the American Center for Law and Justice.
Visit us at aclj.org. That's aclj.org.
This is Dan Proft with 60 Seconds of Sanity. In a recent interview with Charlie Rose, celebrated left-wing snarkist Jon Stewart lamented that no one in the government press corps ever asked Donald Trump what makes America great. The failure of a group that generally doesn't consider America so great to ask that question is unsurprising. It nonetheless remains an important one, and this post-election period of reflection is an opportune time to take it up. America is great because our founders encoded into the DNA of the body politic that God is good and man is not. Our rights come come from a perfect God and cannot be taken away by imperfect men. Thus, our framers limited man's power over his fellow man by diluting it across co-equal branches and subordinate laboratories of democracy. America is great because we're equal before God and have set that same standard we inadequately fulfill in our treatment of each other. America is great because we're accountable before God and disposed, however insufficiently, to set the same bar for each other. America is great because we're called by God to live lives of service and freely do so every day in communion with each other and in repudiation of modern identity politics. America is great because we seek God's grace even while recognizing we're unworthy of it.
There's no question that the economy